Yes, right. Okay, cool. We're good. Okay, we're going live. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Sorry, we are 9 minutes late. Technical difficulties at this time is not the one, but welcome to day one, Bahrain testing. And yes, we are here. I am so sorry, but look, these things happen, and technical issues always seem to occur. And there you go. Katie, you're joining me on this early hour of the morning to see some testing. And we've missed absolutely nothing, so don't worry about that. How are you?
I'm good. I'm not used to being up watching testing at this time in the morning, but I put a thing out yesterday joking that I'm going to have to have my eyes peeled open, and I got loads of abuse from people that are tuning in at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. True. So wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us, whether it's evening, early morning, afternoon. We're so happy to have you here. And I won't complain anymore.
Sounds like you've been raving, to be honest with you, Katie.
I'm just getting over. I got COVID last week, so I'm just getting over that. So yeah, sorry if my voice sounds a little groggy. I haven't been up raving all night. Although I did watch the new Batman film last night. That was very good.
How was it? Good,
yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it. But that's nothing to do with Formula One. So
no. So Formula One, welcome. Yes, exciting. The Merc side pods are the things that everyone's talking about. And
what side pods?
Very narrow, it has to be said. And are they still porpoising down the straight with that replay? Yeah, a little bit. But you'll see the aero rakes, the Mercedes are out there at the moment. Yeah, the Merc does look crazy. Definitely more down the, even more extreme maybe than what we saw with the Red Bull in Barcelona.
Yeah, we thought that was bad. And then Mercedes are like, hold my non-existent side pod. Look at this. It's mad. It's so slender.
Out of interest, Casey, because we didn't sync up because we were too busy doing blooming stuff. What minute are you left? How long does it say?
I have got 3 hours, 48 minutes and 46 seconds, 45 seconds.
I'm 12 seconds ahead.
Okay. That shouldn't matter too much for this, though. It's not like they're going to be setting quali laps or anything.
It's not big moments, is it? Can you stream? No, come on. Look, no, we can't show the footage. I'm so sorry. I thought by now people would probably understand that we're not allowed to show F1 content. We will, however, be putting up images that our editor, Benji, will be sending us as the day goes by, which we can analyse and have a look at things a little bit closer. But no, we're going to be watching along. It is on Sky F1 if you want to go and watch testing. But we're here as your companion throughout the morning. To basically give you any insight, analysis, and updates if you can't actually watch it. That's the idea, isn't it, Katie? Just to be your helping hand.
Exactly. And there's a lot to talk about already this morning. We've got Danny Rick not being well enough to come to the track, so he's missing out on testing today. Got Lando in the McLaren instead, and it means he missed out on all of the group shots that you get at the beginning. You know, that they might show at the start of the Drive to Survive, that kind of thing. He's missed out on it, so they're going to have to edit him in somehow. Yeah. So hopefully he gets better. Obviously, he'll be tuning into this to keep up to date with what's going on. So hi, Danny Rick, if you're watching. And also, what else has been going on? Yeah, we've got Kevin Magnussen in a Haas. That's a thing.
That's new.
Again.
That's the thing.
We have not time travel back 3 years or whatever. Kevin Magnussen has been announced as the driver replacing Nikita Mazepin at Haas. So
but is Pietro still in the car for testing or not? Hello? Katie? Has Katie gone?
Yeah, my internet freaked out. It's like, Kevin Magnussen in a Haas, oh my God.
Literally, I asked you a question and then you just disappeared. I was like, was it that bad? Was it that big of a question? Was it?
Peace out. But yeah, I believe Fittipaldi's in the car this afternoon because they had all of their parts held up. The cargo got stuck in London, and so they got all the stuff to the track yesterday, but you need a bit of time to set everything up, so I think they're going to be on track this afternoon. But yeah, a bit of a nightmare for Haas. But yeah, Kevin should be in the car. He's in Bahrain, but I think they've got Fittipaldi in there this afternoon as just like a safety heads up in case they couldn't get somebody out in time. But yeah, it's exciting. All change at Haas. No more
All
Uralkali, no more
change.
Mazepin.
I know. It's
So we'll see.
crazy. Whoops,
Crazy.
I'm just figuring out a little bit of... No, it's not that one that we want. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting some testing thing up on your screen. Whoops. There we go. The Race Live Hub. That will be times, but it at the moment is just going to be the lineup for today, which I'll put in that box. Not actually going to be able to see all of them, which is a shame, but that will change to the lineup as we go on. I'll just move that down. So Alex Jakes is in the commentary box at the moment with Ted in the pit lane and Julian Palmer, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting.
I like Jolien as a commentator. I think he's really, really good.
Yeah, it's different, isn't it? I love how they just get random people in just to do shifts, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. They did this last year, didn't they? And then they bring in like Crofty in the afternoon.
Crofty then, rolls out of bed.
Yeah, he strolls into the track. But yeah, I love the team of Alex Jakes and Jolien. I think that's a really strong unit.
Yeah, I'm an Alex Jakes fanboy, to be honest with you. I really am. And
number one in the fan club.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Alex Jakes fanboy. So they haven't got timings up at the moment on the screen for testing, which is irritating. But Vettel is the fastest out there at the moment, a 38.803.
That's what we want to see.
Said Vettel. We don't really know what sort of times we will be looking for, but a lot of teams out there with the aero rakes, which we will actually be launching a video lunchtime today, which is answering some questions around aero rakes, what they can learn using those devices, what they're made of, and so on. You know, what are the sensors in there? So look forward to that when we break for lunch at 11 a.m. UK time. So we'll see how it goes, but right now we don't have any timings. I don't know why. Just whack it up, you know. There's free space on the left there, Sky. Just whack up the times, and we're all happy, even if they are 5, 6, 7 seconds off the pace of everything else. Link. What do you mean link, Willem? It's on Sky. If you want to watch it, it's on Sky. If you don't have Sky, watch it with us. As in, we will give you the updates. It's as simple as that. We will. Do you want me to put the? Okay, I'll put the timer up. No problem. That is something I can do. So let me sort that out for you. Whilst I do that, Katie's got some interesting news.
I do.
I've managed to. Oh no, I've zoomed. What? It's changed. Oh, okay. So the Race Live Hub's now changed, and now I'm screen capturing absolutely nothing. That's good. Right. So let me just close that. Oh no, that's you. There we go. Right. I'll just turn that off for now.
Okay. Shall I tell people who's driving on day one of Bahrain?
Go on.
Okay. While you figure that out. So Mercedes have got Hamilton and Russell in the car. Red Bull have got Sergio Perez. Ferrari have got the hybrid of Leclerc and Sainz. As we mentioned, Danny Rick isn't very well today, so it's Norris in the car all day for McLaren. Alpine have got Ocon and Alonso. AlphaTauri have got Pierre Gasly in all day. Aston Martin have got Vettel and then Stroll in the car. Williams are going for Albon today. Alfa Romeo are going for Guan Yu Zhou and Bottas, and then Haas have got Fittipaldi. So if you are tuning in, waiting for the Magnussen hype train, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow, I'm afraid, because he's not in the car today. But he is around, so you might see him. If you're watching it on Sky, he might pop up, maybe do a little interview here and there. I know that he's got some press conferences scheduled today, so we'll be hearing from him. But yeah, certainly an interesting cool to get him back.
It happened very quickly as well, didn't it? It was like, he's entered the fray in that's maybe 2 days ago, and then boom, he is now the driver. Like there's just no messing around.
No, I think it's great because loads of people were suggesting that maybe Fittipaldi would do the full season, which I mean, Haas are used to putting drivers in their car with not much experience. If they've got a bit of Wonga behind them, then why not give them a try? But they've obviously learned from their mistakes, should we call them? And we've been calling out for so long for them to put like the backing behind a driver with experience. It's just a shame that it hadn't happened sooner, because I think having that level of experience is going to be so rich in terms of, what have you done?
No, it's just Soph leaving for work.
Okay.
Say hello to the stream, Soph.
Happy testing day, everyone.
Yeah, that
Yeah, they
knowledge
could
is
hear.
going to be so important to Haas. And obviously they've been lacking it with the rookie duo of Schumacher and Mazepin. So hopefully having Magnussen, K-Mag in that seat will help them develop the car at a faster pace than maybe they have previously. And we might actually see Haas be a little bit competitive this year, which would be
Bye.
nice.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Have a good day. I love you too. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good testing.
Have a good testing. We're all testing cars. Bye.
Bye.
So there goes Soph off to work. Sorry, Katie. You were. What was your point at the end there?
I was just saying having somebody with experience in the car is going to be hugely beneficial to Haas.
Yes, it really is. I'm very excited to see Mick Schumacher go up against someone of experience, which people seem to question slightly. They're like, oh, he's not that experienced. He's like, I'm pretty sure he's had like 6 years in F1 and he's very much experienced enough to be able to give us some kind of benchmark as to what Mick Schumacher is like, which I'm excited for because I am a Schumi fanboy, as a lot of you know.
Not Schumacher. K-Mag is 29 years old.
Yeah, it seems about 35. I'm going to be honest
Honestly,
with you, doesn't he? Yeah.
I was like, if I had to guess how old Magnussen is, I'd be like 33. Thinking that's being a bit generous.
Yeah.
He's 29.
Maybe it's the facial hair. I don't know.
I think
It's
it might be
bit
the
ragged,
beard and the
isn't it?
tats.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he,
Wow.
like you say, he's been around in F1 for so long. He must have been like a proper little baby when he joined with McLaren. But yeah.
20 minutes into F1 testing, we're already questioning the age of drivers. Absolutely love it.
Kevin Magnussen has fake ID. You heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard it here first. So we're 20 minutes into testing, and Lewis Hamilton is still out there with his very aggressive thin side pods. I hope Benji has actually sent me a picture by now. Benji should be.
He sent someone Slack.
Oh,
he just told me.
I should probably. Oh, here we go. Yes, he has. Oh, he has indeed. Just my side pod, my Slack notifications are turned off. My side pod notifications are also turned off. It has to be said. Right, let me change that to boom. Wow.
What have we got
okay,
up on the screen?
We've got some Mercedes side pod loving.
Love it.
Or lack of. That's. I wonder how that's going to handle, because that is a very aggressive design. So Mercedes will find out very quickly today whether it's something worth continuing and pursuing or not. It seems as though Red Bull have continued on the same kind of side pod design, but thankfully they've painted it this time so it looks much more normal.
Indeed. I mean, quite a few people have commented on social media that you see Mercedes that have gone for the teeniest, tiniest little side pods, and then you've got Haas with these gigantic side pods. So it's like, I wonder which one is going to be the most
which one's going to work?
Yeah. But this is the thing I love about the new regs is it's properly shaken everything up. And because each team has got their own set of geniuses, working to their interpretation of the rule book, we were always going to see different designs being brought up and brought to testing and things. And obviously they'll adapt and change. And it might be that we end up gravitating towards something that's a bit more similar towards the end of the season because people will see the design that works. But at this time in testing, it's fascinating because there aren't really many teams that have shown up with near identical designs. Everyone's gone for something pretty different, whether that's the size of the side pod, whether that's the shape of it. It's really, I mean, like Red Bull for me is on the screen now, and they've got quite a boxy side pod design, which is different.
Yep.
Compared to what we've seen on obviously like the show car last year, although that was just basically like, here's this new car, it looks pretty, but like don't expect everyone to have a duplicate of this when it comes to the first race in Bahrain. But it's certainly different. And as we mentioned, Red Bull showed up with some funky side pods for Barcelona testing a few weeks ago. So it's all change.
It's all change, and thankfully, not every team has the same philosophy, which is exciting. There is still very much a lot of variation out there, which is ideal because it means that teams still don't really know which way the fastest way is to go, despite the first 3 days in testing. Shakedown. That joke will never get old. In Barcelona, Whereas this, we're only 24 minutes into official testing, Katie. 24 minutes we've seen these cars actually running live pictures, and it feels good. It feels good. And it genuinely does feel like the F1 season is around the corner. So yeah, 25 minutes in, 3 hours and 35 to go of this morning session. We've got Sergio Perez out there at the moment, as you can see on your screens, in terms of there is an empty pit box. And Lewis Hamilton's been doing a lot of laps as well. Hopefully I'll be able to get some screen capture of the timings from the Race Live Hub, if that actually wants to work. That would be lovely. Not in terms of the Race Live Hub working, in terms of my screen capture. It seems to be a little bit on the ropey side today. But I will try and figure that out. And let's have a look and see. Okay, we have got day one times up there now. So let me sort that out whilst... Katie, I hear you've got something else fascinating to tell everyone.
You need to stop doing this. I haven't got anything.
You've got it.
It's just like la la la. Something interesting, or that people might find interesting. Sebastian Vettel is known for his racing helmet designs, and he likes to reflect the current situations going on in the world with his racing helmet design. And he's got a different design. How many times can I say design in one sentence? A different design in testing, which is to show support of the ongoing conflict with Ukraine. So his helmet, rather than having the traditional German colours on there, he's got a blue and yellow design with a nice flying dove on the side. So that's my piece of news. There we go.
Love that. Love that. That news has ended far too quickly for my liking.
Okay, I can keep talking.
It's fine. I'm nearly done. Right.
Last year, he had the Water is Life or something along those lines, which was the pink BWT partnered helmet. But this year, he's brought back his traditional German design with the white background and the German flag as a stripe, which I think a lot of people will agree that's maybe one of their favorite helmet designs on the grid. It is for me anyway.
Yeah,
I'm quite a boring person. I like the simplicity compared to somebody like Daniel Ricciardo's, which normally
it's
he
just
provides
crazy,
a really wicked design, but he's just gone a bit too far.
He's gone too far. There you go. Headline from Katie. Too far.
He's lost the plot.
Wow. Tommy last year with Williams, the worst livery ever in Formula One. This year, Daniel Ricciardo's lost the plot from Katie. What headline will I come out with next year? Probably Ferrari. Something to do with Ferrari winning. So I can see Vettel out there. Perez as well. Out on track. Aston Martin still looking as gorgeous as ever. Nothing particularly striking on the Aston Martin in terms of a new creative direction from what I can see there. The Ferrari's out on track as well. Still looks as beautiful as ever.
Yeah.
Charles Leclerc out there in that Ferrari.
Yeah, they're all looking good. I got a lot of stick on the internet the other day. I know, shock, people being mean on the internet. Because we put out our livery ratings, and I didn't give a single team a 10 out of 10, and people were like, oh my god, Katie is so picky, she's so hard, difficult to please. But it's just because I'm saving that 10 out of 10 for a livery that I just really find amazing and special. And there are lots of really good liveries on the grid, but none that I think are worthy of a 10. But you and Tommy gave the Ferrari a 10, and I gave it an 8.5.
Yeah. I almost
I literally angered all of Italy with my decision.
Yeah, I think you angered the entire world, to be honest.
I don't know. I think I'm very much alone, clearly, from the comments, but it's just red with a bit of black.
Okay, don't do it. Don't go down that road, Katie. You don't want to. You'll regret it.
It's 7:28 in the morning. I want F1 Twitter. Everyone watching.
F1 Twitter is divided on everything apart from the Ferrari livery. You tried to break away from the stream, and we were like, no, what the hell are you doing?
I'm not saying it's ugly. It was up there with Aston Martin. It tied on the highest rated one. So it's not like I gave it a 4 or something.
No,
but
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
I think the car itself is stunning. I really love it, but we're not ranking it on the car. We're ranking it on just the livery. And if you had just the livery on a piece of paper, you'd be like, well, it's just red and black.
Okay, right. We're going to have to move on because I can see the chat getting angry.
Good.
don't rile them back up again, Katie. Don't do it.
I'm gonna do it.
So anyway, the Ferrari's beautiful. And we can see right now Leclerc out there on a flying lap. So let's have a look and see. Can Leclerc go fastest in the first sector? Currently, Perez, a 31.065 in that first sector. It feels like a quali watch-along all over again. Leclerc on the C4 tyres at the moment. Does he go fastest in the first sector? Yes, he does. Ferrari hype train, choo-choo. We have definitely left the station. Leclerc fastest in the first sector, looking very good indeed. Of course, on those C4 red-walled side tyres. Velas on that rear wing as well. Big title sponsor. Not title sponsor, but big sponsor on the rear wing for Ferrari. They're still looking like a 10 out of 10 livery as he heads into that very difficult downhill left-hander. So easy to lock a brake. We saw Lewis Hamilton actually about 5 minutes ago locking a brake and running wide there. But Leclerc, no such problems at the moment. We've got around 10 seconds to go before we find out if Leclerc is going to go fastest in the middle sector as well. And we can fully start to see the championship trophy at the end of the train line. Let's have a look. Oh my God, he's a second up. Purple in the middle sector. Charles Leclerc is about to smash Sergio Perez's fastest lap time of a 37.950. I know it's not fast at all, but we are still very much Ferrari hype train all the way. Round the final corner comes Charles Leclerc. He drives towards the line, runs a little bit wide on the exit curb there. That's going to lose him a little bit of time, but still, he's got more than enough time in hand. Charles Leclerc comes over the line. He goes fastest by 9/10 of a second. He wins the World Championship. Charles Leclerc, World Champion of 2022. Unbelievable.
How have you got this much energy at 7:30 in the morning?
The coffee's kicking in. The coffee is really
The
kicking
coffee
in.
has truly kicked in, I can tell. My goodness. I just feel like I don't need caffeine after that. Oh, that's woken me up.
So there you go.
Amazing.
I'm now going to be sort of out of
Bring
order
that
for the
energy
next 30
always
minutes.
to every part of your life.
No, I'm going
Yeah.
to be out of order for 30 minutes now. I'm sorry. So
Oh no, I
you
haven't
go.
got 30 minutes worth of content to fill.
I'm going to really annoy everybody. Charles Leclerc goes fastest. World champion confirmed.
Oh, that's going to rile up Twitter.
Again.
Again. It's nice having, well, I say this for the ones that are fortunate enough like us to be able to watch it live, but yeah, actually see cars on track, because we had to rely a lot on our imagination last week or a few weeks ago when we had Shakedown in Barcelona. So it's nice to actually see the cars on track and see how they're handling. And because one thing that was noted from, obviously we worked with the race on this, and they had a lot of experts that were trackside, and a lot of common feedback was that the drivers are having to literally change their style of driving to suit these new cars. So that's something that they're going to be getting used to. And obviously there are so many parts to them that are new, like the new 18-inch tires. And a few drivers have commented that it's actually quite difficult visibility wise because the tires are so big. But I'm sure it's going to be probably similar to the Halo in a sense that they'll just adapt and overcome and get used to it. Because obviously Formula One isn't going to be like, you can't see, that's fine, that's safe. We'll run with that. That's okay.
Fine. So right on screen now, we've got of the Ferrari and the Mercedes sort of side-by-side comparison where you've got what I like to call the swimming pool side pod, where you've got that little dip in the Ferrari, and clearly a lot chunkier of a boy than Mercedes below. You can see the visible difference there, even if you're not an aerodynamicist. So that is quite interesting to take a look at, and make of it what you will. But it is a big difference, and that's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. These different concepts and designs from teams where they're still figuring it out when we get to round one in Bahrain, where we are now. So so right now, even though we've got a list of 20, it's Leclerc fastest from Vettel, Perez, Zhou, Hamilton, Gasly, your top six. And then I'm not sure if anyone else has set a time. I don't think so. But they've got it. They've basically put everyone up on screen despite not everybody running. So clearly they've got a particular graphic that they can't really alter. And there you go. The actual live timing we've got is manually updated every now and again. So bear with that. But it should be updated now. Leclerc, 9/10 ahead. Ferrari. Boom. Love it. Love it. So whilst everybody is soaking up Leclerc being fastest and kind of coming to terms with Ferrari being world champions, we are going to be doing videos every single day, summing up what's gone on in each day of testing, like we did in Bahrain. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. And we'll also be answering a few questions about things from testing, specific things from testing in videos as well. We've got a video coming out at lunchtime, which is all around the aero rakes that you see in the morning session, which you can see right now on screen if you're synced up with me. I have tried to put the timer up, by the way, guys, but it's being a bit iffy and for some reason not allowing me to screen capture that. But I will try and sort that out for you. Don't worry. But yes, basically going to dissect what those aero rakes are and what they're made of, etc., which could be interesting to find out for you guys. And yeah, lots of content, basically. I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing daily stuff for the foreseeable. So Katie, myself and Tommy will not be sleeping one bit. So all for your entertainment, though. So we love it.
Yeah, sleep's overrated. I always
Sleep
thought
is
that
overrated.
Anyway.
Yeah. Hence why coffee. Boom.
Yeah. I'm going to have to keep running off and making myself tea and water.
Because the thing is, I never drink like caffeinated drinks. So when I do have a coffee, it's like big boost, Like the brain's like, whoa, Matt, what is this? What is this?
What are you doing to me?
So riding on board with Guan Yu Zhou, 3 hours, 24 minutes and 25 seconds, 24 seconds, 23 seconds, 22. If you want to sync up with me, there you go. 3:24, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. So there you go. I've given you a bit of an insight, and I'll try and sort out the timer as well on screen. But Guan Yu Zhou, 2/10 off Leclerc in the first sector. Alfa Romeo hype train all of a sudden. He's on the C3 tyre at the moment. The onboards look so Formula E, it's disgusting, doesn't it? Like it's ridiculous.
Formula E on boards?
Absolutely nothing. I don't mean it in a horrible way, but it is. It does very much.
You said it was disgusting.
Yeah,
That's
but
not a good word
if
to
you
use.
know my terming of phrasing, you kind
that's
of.
true.
Disgusting is more on my way of emphasising something rather than actually being disgusting. It does genuinely, I'm not actually repulsed, but it does look very different.
It does look very Formula E, yeah.
With the wheel covers and everything, that is going to take a little bit of time to adjust to for sure. But yes, Guan Yu Zhou, we're riding on board with now. Yeah, 2.5. Oh my God, Leclerc's gone 2 seconds quicker. He's 2 seconds quicker.
Just call it off.
He's 2 seconds quicker than Vettel with 35.9.
But yeah, that's the thing. Vettel's in second. So, I mean, is that really...
Yeah, but Perez is third. It's over. It's over. Pack your bags, everybody. You might as well just end testing now.
Yeah, and Hamilton's under Guan Yu Zhou.
Oh, my God.
There we go. Championship is over.
Oh, my days. It's unbelievable.
What I will say is it's nice to see Alfa Romeo actually on track setting lap times, because they had an absolute mare in Barcelona, didn't they? They had a real difficulty in terms of mechanical issues with the car and getting themselves ready to be in a state to go on track. And then Guan Yu Zhou, getting used to the Alfa, had a little spin on one of the days and then had an issue with the car later on that caused another red flag. So he caused 2 red flags in the space of about an hour. But yeah, ready for that to be the biggest jinx of all time. But for now, I'm just happy to see him setting laps and getting some valuable data for that Alfa Romeo team, because they need it.
So right now the timings: 35.953 for Leclerc, 37.945 for Vettel, 37.950 for Perez, a Zhou a 139.290, Hamilton a 140.605, and Gasly a 43.070. We've only had 6 times on the board so far this morning, nearly 40 minutes in, which is surprising. You think that be a few more teams rushing out the door to have a go, but of course there was a problem with Haas. There's actually been an update from Haas, because I didn't see any news this morning. Are they definitely not running at all today?
They'll be running this afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll have Fittipaldi in the car this afternoon, but they won't be running this morning because they had
logistical issues, didn't they, or something? With
their cargo ship got stuck in London.
In London?
So they were late.
What, down the River Thames?
Oh no, not cargo. Well, like cargo shipment.
Oh right, okay. I was just thinking like an actual ship down the River Thames. I took a wrong turning, mate. I should be.
Yeah.
I should be in the sea, and
The big boat that got stuck last year. Do you know the one in the
Oh
Suez
yeah,
Canal?
yeah.
It was like that.
It got stuck turning
But
around, didn't it?
yeah, but no, their shipment was like being held in London, so it's with them. It got there yesterday, I think yesterday morning or something. But yeah, it's just not enough time to have set everything up and build an F1 car, because I guess it's quite a long process.
It is. It is quite a long process.
Speaking from experience, all those F1 cars I've built over time.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Let me put that down. Nope, that's far too far. I'm going to see it. Oh, it's fine. There's only 7 drivers that have, well, actually, no, 6 drivers that have still set a lap time. We've got the Ferrari in the pits. I'm going to need some Ferrari merch this year. I really am.
I was thinking that. I think I might do the same.
Yeah, I really do. There
I'm
is
just not
the.
too keen on the big black stripe on them.
No, I'm not either. I'm
Yeah.
not a massive fan of that, but I feel like my fanboyisms that are coming out, and look, it's irritating some people already. I love that. I love it. You know, people are like,
I
stop
haven't even had the first race yet. Oh my
jinxing, Matt.
God.
Matt, stop. So I tweeted, Charlotte Leclerc goes fastest. The Ferrari hype train has fully left the station. Someone goes, Matt, stop jinxing so early into the season. I just replied, no. No, I won't. I feel like if I manifest it enough, it becomes true. I can't jinx the whole way through. There's going to be one that surely comes true. That's the dream anyway. But we move. Leclerc is fastest by 2 seconds, just in case anybody had forgotten that had happened. And it is on screen, but I just want to keep reminding everybody of that. So we've got a bit of a lull at the moment. We've got a couple of cars out on track. We've got a lock-up from Sebastian Vettel on the C2s, it seems. Yeah, that is the C2 tyre. So if you're wondering how to differentiate, if you're watching along, C1s are the white... Oh, I'm going to sneeze.
Bless you.
Oh, wow, that was an incredible mute. I had to mute blind. Right. Yes, C1 is the white Pirelli, but without the brackets round it. C2 is the white sidewalls, but with the brackets round it, so the white sort of lines around it. C3 is the yellow medium tyre, C4 is the red with brackets, and C5 is the red but without brackets. So that is the difference in compounds, and teams are going to be learning, trying to learn as much as they can before next weekend. Next weekend we go racing for round 1 in Bahrain. It's incredibly exciting. We've got some more pictures sent over by Benji. Thankfully, no memes just yet.
It's too early for those.
Yeah. There's an AlphaTauri with big old aero rakes on, which is very exciting. But yes, Katie, I'm just going to try and quickly, that's really good English.
This is good.
Try and quickly
English.
demolish these breakfast biscuits. So I'm going to give you the mic for like 2 minutes because my body's like, Matt, you haven't fed me and you've spoken a lot. So
Okay.
just 2-minute
me luck.
race rundown. That's
2
what we
minute
need.
race rundown. Okay.
I'll be back in a sec.
No problem. So at the moment, we have 2 cars out on track, and that is Sergio Perez in the Red Bull. He is going to be the only Red Bull driver on track today. And we've got Guan Yu Zhou, who's also out there setting some lap times. The screen has just split because we're getting live scenes of Kevin Magnussen sitting in the Haas. I don't know if he's doing a seat fitting, because obviously this is all so last minute. He probably hasn't spent much time with the team at the factory since he was announced he was coming back, which is very exciting. Haas have also tweeted some new pictures of their livery, because obviously they, as well as losing Nikita Mazepin as a driver, they also terminated their sponsorship deal with title sponsor Uralkali, who, as you'll know, I guess had some influence in how the livery looked last year. And despite saying it's not a Russian livery, did look suspiciously like a Russian flag on the front wing. But with Uralkali now gone, we've got a new livery, and it's not the same as it was before the Uralkali money came in, because we've got different sponsors, and obviously people like Kevin and Roman Grosjean brought their own people to the team, and you'll remember that was very much like a charcoal, dark granite grey and red, whereas this car is very much red and white. But yeah, I'll see if we can get Benji to get these images onto the screen so you can see them as well. But it's still very much a white base to it, but just a lot of red, a nice bright vibrant red the kind of red that you maybe expected the Ferrari to be. And that's got some nice detailing on it as well as huge Haas stickers on the front wing and the rear wing and the side pods. So they've tweeted that with a quite little sassy Twitter caption saying, first look at our actual, and actual is in italics, livery for 2022. So that's nice. And like I say, we'll get Benji to make a graphic for that.
Yeah.
Just as Sergio Perez comes in from doing some of his laps, and he's got the Flovis paint on his Red Bull at the moment. Also, there's a photographer actually sitting on the track there, which I don't understand because there is still a car on track.
I am back. I haven't eaten all my breakfast biscuits. I was sorting out the timer, but it's fine. We have returned.
No worries.
We have timer on screen now, so if you want to sync up with me, then feel free to do that. It's in the top right-hand corner. But welcome everybody that is just joining to F1 testing, day one morning. We have Charles Leclerc fastest from Vettel, Perez, Zhou, Hamilton, and Gasly. Only 6 times set at the moment. No Alpine out there. No Williams. No Haas, but there'll be no running for them until this afternoon. And there has been no McLaren either. So despite Daniel Ricciardo being unwell and Lando Norris stepping up, they still haven't stepped out the pit lane yet. So not sure if we have any information on that, but they haven't been out just yet.
Wonderful.
So got some more images for you, which I can put up on screen of the Haas this time.
Yes. I asked Benji to make some of those. There's a new livery on that Haas, so I've just talked about it while you were getting the timer sorted.
Boom. There is the Haas. We won't be seeing it till this afternoon, but a glimpse of what it looks like. Slightly different, in fact, without the Uralkali sponsorship. Maybe a bit better, actually.
Not as much, like hardly any blue on it, which you'd think because they've got 1&1 as a sponsor, and that's predominantly blue, but I guess they were like, we're just going to, like, anything that reminds us of last year's Haas, no. So just keep it as simple and as, like, nice as possible. We don't want those 2021 flashbacks, thank you.
No, we do not. We do not at all. Let me move the timings because there are more timings coming in. So let me stick that up. There you go. Charles Leclerc all the way down to Albon. But Ocon and Albon. Ocon's actually been out there for 1 lap. Albon for 4. But neither time set for Ocon or Albon. You really like the livery. Interesting. Horner crying already. What's people saying about that? What's Horner cried about? I take what people say with a pinch of salt because the Hamilton versus Verstappen rivalry, in my opinion, is going to boil over to, at least on social media, to levels that, I mean, to be fair, it's already levels that I can't really cope with. But I feel like if there's any more controversy this year, we might have to just disable Twitter full stop.
Do you want to know why Christian Horner's being called a crybaby?
Yeah, go on. Give us the info. Give us the insight.
So apparently he has said about the new Mercedes violates the spirit of the regulations. For us, there are some parts that are not legal. It's not even been an hour, Christian. We've been on the track for 47 minutes. But he said in the Sky Sports documentary that was at the weekend, Jewel, that he says these things just to make sure that basically the FIA and their technical delegates and such are checking these parts. So he might not think it's illegal, but he's just saying it to let the FIA know that he's like on the case, if you like. But
he's on the case. He
could say that about anything. They could rock up in like a slightly different color race suit and he'd be like, I think that's illegal. Just like every little thing. But I'm sure Mercedes are not going to be like bringing things that are illegal and could jeopardize their championship before it's even begun. But
no, they might. Yeah,
they might.
They might be trying to see
Weirder
exactly
things have happened.
what they can get away with. But Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if, Red Bull and Ferrari do this whole like, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that, oh my God. And then it turns out that a different team completely is fastest but when we get to next week's race, and they've been complaining about that, and then, Ferrari and McLaren are right at the front. But it'll be interesting to see if they continue that fight. I imagine there will be a lot of bickering, a lot of fighting between those two, if they do end up being the first and second fastest team. But Mercedes have come out the blocks with something very, very unique with their lack of side pods. They're just like, nah, fam, we don't want any, which is very interesting. Comparing that to the McLaren that have very boxy side pods, or at least the air intake of it is very boxy, and towards the back of the car as well. You can see the towards the rear wing. It's they're just like, you know what? Let's just put a rectangle on the back of it. It's absolutely fine. So that McLaren, Lando Norris is finally out there with the aero rake. He didn't think he was going to be driving today, did he? Or was it going to be split half and half? I'm not sure. Was Danny Rick supposed to drive the whole day, Katie, as far as you're aware? You're muted. You're muted, Katie.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I keep muting it because I keep coughing, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be really annoying for people. But yeah, I don't know. It's
Not
really
sure.
worth me coming off mute for that, right?
No problem, but thank you. Not sure.
I can find out for you. 2 secs, Ted.
2 secs. Oh, yeah, there's Lewis Hamilton.
2 secs.
And then the Charles Leclerc, and Charles Leclerc. Oh, wow, that's a very different aero rake on the Alfa Romeo. And oh my days, that Alfa Tauri. They've just put on every aero rake possible. They've done the rear, they've done the front. The whole thing is just building scaffolding on the Alfa Tauri. There's Lando Norris, as we just saw on board. He, as we just mentioned, wasn't expecting to drive this morning, but he's out there now. He's the only car out on track, in fact. So we're going to keep an eye and see how he's doing.
Ever such a slight tweak to the McLaren livery as well, which they debuted yesterday. They've just got a bit more black on the top of the airbox there. It's not very crazy, but it helps, I think, because it was quite a lot having the sort of coral orange and the pastel blue all over the car. Because obviously they released it at the same time as like their Extreme E car and their Indy car, and the Indy car looked stunning.
Yeah.
But they've brought a slightly different livery to the F1 car, but it's slowly morphing into that Indy car design. But yeah, it's still, I see why they went for the colors, because it reminds me of the Gulf, and they said, we saw how much everybody loved the Gulf Monaco design, and so we wanted to kind of embrace that a bit more. But that Gulf was just so close to perfection that I was like, anything but I'll be sad and upset by.
So true.
As we know, I'm very difficult to please when it comes to liveries, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, 8.5 out of 10 for a Ferrari. Totally not over that in the slightest. A bit of squirrely exit from Lando as he comes back into the pits now and makes it absolutely nobody out on track, which means I think we need to play a game of something.
A game?
I don't know what.
Okay.
Let's play a game of Guess the Caption. And I'm going to use this picture. What has Christian Horner just said to Sergio Perez? My submission will be, we're 2.5 seconds slower. Try not to react. And then that was Sergio Perez's reaction. You will see it once it comes up, I'm sure, Katie, and react.
I was going to say, on an ever such slight delay on the stream.
What's Christian Horner just said to Sergio Perez?
Oh, that's a good one, yeah. Sergio, they've got rid of your turning around scene in the F1 intro. And he's like, no! That was like the highlight of the F1 intro.
Didn't they post about that recently, Red Bull, like recreating that turn, which is great. So.
I'm going to be so disappointed if Sergio Perez doesn't do some kind of like sassy finger snap or something along those lines in the intro this year, because his like turn around was just so iconic, and it made me properly giggle every time I saw it last year, and I look forward to it. And now
people made some
gone.
very funny edits of it as well. It's quite something.
Amazing.
If you're just joining, welcome. I think it's probably good to give you a small update of what's gone on. In a nutshell, not a huge amount in the first just under an hour gone. The big talking point is the Mercedes lack of side pods. They've gone for a very aggressive, narrow-shaped car. Of course, they've got the sort of cheese grater cooling on the sides. They've gone for that level of cooling, which is the only way they could really do that. If they've got no side pods, they can't do anything else. So that's the big thing. And Christian Horner, as Katie mentioned very shortly ago, has been complaining that it goes against the spirit of the rules, which is very interesting. I don't remember teams ever going with the spirit of the rules. If there's loopholes, I'm pretty sure they jump through them. It sounds more like Christian Horner didn't see that coming and isn't it therefore complaining a little bit about what the Mercedes have brought out for this first session. Other news, Charles Leclerc is fastest by 2 seconds, so strap yourselves in, get the F1 merch if necessary, or I say Ferrari merch even, for next weekend. Other images, we've got some more images that I haven't put up yet. Let me stick up a Williams. Look at that, lovely. And every single time I see that Williams, I'm falling more and more in love with it with each step. And I think that, they didn't do it justice with their launch, whether it's the lighting or whatever. Some of the images were very poor in terms of the rendering, and the render actually looked worse than... Anyway, but it actually on track looks a lot better. So hopefully the car itself is actually competitive as well. Then we've got Sebastian Vettel there in his car looking... I mean, that's a very nice shot indeed, actually. Big fan of that. What else have we got that I haven't put up yet? Have I put that image up? Not sure. Whoops, I've just maximised that. There's the Red Bull with Sergio Perez out there with some aero rake on the front of his car. We've still got nobody out on track. 4 minutes to go until we finish the first hour. What other images have we got? It's like a little slideshow to top off the first hour. Thank you to Benji for supplying these photos, and thank you to XPB for actually taking them. And we can use them as we are
legends
partners with them. So there is the front wing of the McLaren. If you haven't seen our banned sponsors video, you may, or if you have seen it, you may recognise the word views, because that was something we spoke about. In terms of sponsors and whatnot. If you haven't seen that, go check it out during the lunch break. I'm sure you'll find it entertaining. There is Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas, old teammates, now different teams. I think you'd rather be Lewis Hamilton than Valtteri Bottas coming into this season, but we will see. Alfa Romeo had a very poor Barcelona in terms of mileage. They had a lot of problems, and that is slideshow complete. So there you go. That is the images. I didn't actually look at any submissions for the Christian Horner Sergio Perez thing. Did you see any, Katie, or were you also busy? Maybe we do it again.
Making graphics and
maybe
all this
we
kind
do
of
it
stuff
again. So let's put in your submissions now about what is Christian Horner. What has Christian Horner just said to Sergio Perez? We've got Gasly and Albon out on track now. Thankfully, we've got some running again. But yeah, submit your quotes, and I will read them out when they come through.
Perfect. There are a few that I've still got on the screen from earlier. We've got Sotris saying, Horner, Mercedes have no side pods, and that was Checo's reaction, which is good. Somebody said, it looks more like Horner farted and Sergio is covering his nose, which is also true.
Just solid sort of 5-year-old banter. Enjoy that.
Fart jokes, yeah.
Fart jokes.
That's the level of we want.
What else we got? He told him what he did in his hotel room last night. Come on, it's 8 a.m. The flying
Oh my God, guys, it's so early.
It's been 30 minutes. I'm going to protest, says RSPB Gaming. Rick is coming back, says Hamilton the Goat. I ate the chips. We look like a mid-team right now, according to data, says Tanmay.
Oh, savage.
No more tequila for breakfast, says Vibhava. I'm glad there's no tequila for breakfast if they're driving Formula One cars. Can you tow Max, says Daksh. That was only 60%.
He's not in the car today, Max, so that would be quite an achievement.
I'm not sure how
maybe he's just towing him generally.
I'm dating your mother, says Darren. Interesting. Sergio, you are our number one driver, says Dusan.
That's what I like that one.
There you go. So thank you for your inputs to that caption competition. You win
And we've got
absolutely
cars on
nothing.
track.
There is an
Yeah.
image of Hamilton running wide, which I mentioned earlier while Charles Leclerc was pushing. Interesting. So Hamilton, they must just be using the car with the yellow T-cam, because Hamilton doesn't usually have the yellow T-cam. And what I mean by T-cam is the T on the top of the car, the yellow part. He usually has the one that merges into the colour scheme, the sort of neutral one. So I wonder why that's the case. But they do only run one car in testing, don't they? So for cost-saving measures, Gasly goes fifth fastest, 4.4 seconds off the pace. So not really worth mentioning, but it's a lap time and we have to mention it because that's what you guys tune in for. The live updates from testing. It's quite nice that we can actually see stuff on track. So we can let you know. Alex Albon's out there in the Williams. That looks like Williams need to get some sponsors for their T-cam. There's literally nothing for that T-cam. I can't see one sponsor.
Yeah, that's very true, actually. That's missed opportunity. So I'm sure there will be just a matter of time before somebody comes along and snaps that up. If not, we'll do it. We'll put a nice WTF1 sticker. Yeah, that's what I thought.
For £3.50. We will.
Yeah, I think that's a bargain.
A big logo, and then Williams can buy a meal deal with it. It's lovely. So there is the Williams. You can see big old side pods. Have they still got the hole in the? I think they've still got the hole in the side pod, which was an unusual way of trying to fix the porpoising issue. Williams trying to release some of the air and stop the bouncing, which we saw in Barcelona. Interested to see what the teams say after this first morning. Running, if their solutions to it have actually fixed it. But Williams have carried on by the looks of things with that hole in the side pod, but I might be wrong. It might just be the angle, but it seems as though maybe he tried to have a look, couldn't really see. Alex Albon wheeled back into the garage, still no time set for both himself and Ocon, and there's a nice replay, DRS wide open, hard braking into turn one, and Albon locks up and runs a little bit wide. Very wide, actually. Off the track wide.
That's not ideal. That's not what you want to be doing, really. Not that I'm a professional racing driver, but you kind of want to be on the track.
Just put a quote. That's not what you want to be doing, really, says Katie Fairman. Oh, there's a big old cough.
Sorry, guys. I am trying to mute myself when I do it, and I'm going through so much water. There's
some Joe content for you, everybody. About to put on his very colourful helmet.
Yeah, and the Race Live Hub have made a very good point, which is that, of course, we haven't actually seen the Alpha on track with its livery because in Shakedown Barcelona, it ran with the camo black and white design, which was like an AI interpreted camouflage design. And they had some really cool merch with it as well, like the jackets and stuff. And if you're listening, Alfa Romeo, the offer still stands. I would really like to have one of those jackets.
Yeah, limited edition camo jacket now.
Yeah, it looks so cool. But no, they've gone to their traditional red and white design now. They've launched the car officially. And they look cool. And the wheel covers look sick. They look awesome. I've seen those on track today, and I'm loving it.
Sick. Love it.
It's sick, bruv.
That is some technical analysis. Oh, what is Sam Collins having a look at here? Oh, this is the seat.
This is what somebody's bottom
He's talking about the heat shield that's on. Is that? Yeah, so that's the heat shield on the seat. Alex Albon apparently has had a problem. Okay, so he needs a new seat put in, apparently.
Oh, well, that's going to be a long process.
So Sam Collins is now analysing the side pod exit duct.
He's a great addition to the F1 team, Sam Collins. I'm glad they've got him. He explains things in such a way that I'm like, oh, it's so obvious. It's so simple, but it's really not. He's just got such a way with wording it that he makes me feel like, like Adrian Newey over here. Like,
yeah, the
I
thing
know
is,
all this
like
technical insight.
Sam Collins is absolutely brilliant, but he could literally say anything and people would believe him because of the amount of enthusiasm and how sure he is of what he says.
That's very true.
He's like, you just believe him. Like, you're like, oh, brilliant. That is now the thing. And I think sometimes he's been a little bit wrong.
And I'd be like, yes.
Yeah, sometimes he's been a little bit wrong, bless him. But he is brilliant, and I do love his enthusiasm. And he's a great addition to the team. I've had the pleasure of working with him on F1 TV sometimes, and yeah, he's incredibly passionate about it. Here is Hamilton out there at the moment on the C2 tyre, not pushing, and yeah, it does look very. I mean, it looks so thin, tightly compacted. That Mercedes, especially considering how big the rear wang is. It is, it's not looking
rear wang
particularly
check's back already.
planted either. That Mercedes at the moment out on the C2 tyre, maybe trying to get some tyre temperature into these brand new 18-inch wheels. Look, it might be a different concept that Mercedes have brought, but it doesn't mean it's right. It just means that in their simulations, in their data, that it potentially is the way to go. But, until you run out there in these kind of heats and kind of in this kind of heat, and find out, does the cooling work properly? Is the data correct in terms of how the flow structure is on the car? It looks very squirmy, very, very difficult to drive at the moment for Lewis Hamilton, which is very similar to what we saw this time last year around Bahrain. Mercedes
this is true.
had big problems in testing, and yeah, that didn't look like a very nice lap for Hamilton, but you don't know the fuel loads, you don't know what he's exactly trying to do. But yeah, 4.5 seconds off Charles Leclerc at the moment. Very much not on push laps, despite having the DRS wide open of that car. Are you going to be doing race watch-alongs this year? Asks the Blues. No, we're not. We are going to be doing our usual content of qualifying watch-alongs. We'll also do internet special reactions. We, of course, will do podcasts as well, and all sorts of other stuff. F101s to react to big questions throughout the season. Yeah, lovely.
Talking of Lewis Hamilton, which you were mentioning earlier, some interesting news that happened last night is that Apple TV confirmed that they were going to be doing a feature documentary about him exclusively on Apple TV. So if you are a Lewis Hamilton fan, get yourself an Apple TV subscription. I don't know when it's coming out, but they've mentioned that it's going to be an exclusive documentary about his life and, getting those 7 world championships. So that's going to be an interesting
Who's
watch
making that? Apple?
It's on Apple TV, yeah. And I think it's
the world loves a documentary at the moment, don't they? They really do.
Yeah, and I think it's also being produced and made by Box to Box, which are the people that do Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
So that could be good if you are like me and will just watch anything that's a motorsport documentary.
Did you watch Duel? Have you watched Duel?
I did. I watched Duel at the weekend. Yeah,
I haven't watched it. Thoughts?
Unbelievable. It's like a season review, but only focusing on Hamilton and Verstappen. I'll be honest, there wasn't any kind of crazy big statements made, but they featured a lot of Christian Horner, Toto Wolff was in it. And then obviously all of the Sky lot. They got Nico Rosberg in to do some talking about what it's like to be Hamilton's teammate, etc. But no, it was good. If you've got 2 hours and you think, what can I watch? And you want just a nice little reminder of how last season went down. I know for some, especially Hamilton fans, they probably don't want to relive 2021. But it was, if you're like a neutral, then it's quite a good documentary to watch. And then, of course, talking of documentaries, which I call it a documentary in inverted commas, Drive to Survive is dropping tomorrow.
Yes, Drive to Survive. I still haven't seen the last 2 episodes. It hasn't been released yet. Well, at least to media. Have you seen them? Have they been released? Do you have any idea if we're going to get to see them before?
They got released yesterday, but I don't know that we've received them. Oh. So clearly, we'll slagging it off has.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they've gone. Delete it. Don't let WTF1 watch it. My apologies, but hopefully everybody appreciated the honesty. It wasn't just going to go with, oh, it's amazing, because then we'll never see improvements. So, yeah, I'll be very interested to see what people think of Drive to Survive when it launches
Yeah.
tomorrow.
I think it goes live at 8 a.m. in the UK because some
8
people are like,
a.m.,
oh, I'm going to
lovely.
wait until midnight. And I'm like, well, you're going to be waiting a long time because I
Yeah.
don't think it launches at midnight. I think it launches at 7 or 8 a.m. Let me pull up my
Ooh, bit
letter
of
from Netflix.
something
I can tell you
flapping
what
off
time
the
it
side
starts.
of Hamilton's Mercedes there. Just come up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
What
odd.
even? Just
I
seems
think, do
just
you
to
think
be
that's
like the
something to cover
actual.
something?
It just
Do you think
seems
they're
like the
covering
actual.
something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Paint.
Either that, or it just seems as though the livery is slightly coming off and it's not fully been
Weird.
plastered or whatever word you want to call onto the car. So very strange. Will affect the airflow ever so slightly. You don't really want that just hanging off, so I'm sure they'll probably bring him in as Lando Norris comes into the pits once again. Still no time for McLaren. 1 hour 10 minutes into testing, and he comes back into the pits once again. So McLaren just doing some installation runs by the looks of things. Got the aero rake on the front of the car still. And Lando, comes into the pits and then goes straight back out again. So whatever reasoning that is, do not know. But clearly the team wanted to have a look at something.
Yeah, maybe just getting a bit of pit stop practicing.
So people wondering where I'm watching this live, it's on Sky F1. We can't share the footage. I'm sorry, but we can't. Otherwise we would cease to exist. And we want to exist. That would be nice to continue existing, wouldn't it? So close to 1 million subscribers as well. So please subscribe if you are new. That would be lovely. Thank you. If people are wondering as well if we're going to do this throughout the 3 days, I don't think so. Just purely because it is on television and we have a lot of other work to do. Tommy is actually off on holiday as well. How dare he? Whilst testing is on, which means we're a little bit thinly
everything.
spread. Yeah. So just so people are aware, we probably aren't going to be live this afternoon and into the next couple of days, but we will continue our coverage on social media and whatnot, and we will be with you for the rest of this morning, so another 2 hours 49 minutes with both myself and Katie. But just so you're aware, we're not going to be doing the same coverage as we did last time, but purely because it is on television. It's much more widely accessible for people. I know that some people do enjoy just listening to our waffle, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
But sometimes we have to weigh up when, doing another 24 hours of streaming is actually worth it. So just so you're aware.
I've got a website to run. I've got social media to look after.
Yeah.
And I've got this as well. I'm balancing a lot of plates right now.
Yeah. And sometimes the
doing
plates
this
break. And we don't want the
24
plates to
hours.
break because people
No,
like
please no.
WTF1.com
I'll
and also
cry.
social media. So there you go. Well, you're not reading or answering chat, so we won't miss it. Oh, Mark, come on, calm yourself down. All right, I've been answering a few questions. What's your question, Mark? Come on, get it out. Put it in the chat. Yeah, jeez, come on, calm yourself down. It's 8:12 in the morning. Hi, Katie. What is your prediction? Who will be the fastest in testing on day one? From Canada, says Jay.
Shall I go for something bold or should I go for something obvious? Maybe I'll just go for Carlos Sainz. If he's in the car, which I think he's in the car this afternoon.
If he's in the car. If he's not, Charles Leclerc. Lovely. Cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
What
about you, Matt? What do you think?
Bravo. God, Mark, can't we just accept the fact that there's a lot of things to be looking at right now? About me, I'm going to go with Charles Leclerc. I think Charles Leclerc will be fastest come the end of the day, but we will see. That's full fanboy mode engaged. So are they not going to show this live? Says a cool one. Yeah, I've just said you may have just joined. You may have never heard of copyright, but we can't show the footage, but we can tell you what's going out on track and what's happening. And we've got the timings on the screen as well. You can see between myself and Katie. We've also got the timer in the top right if you want to sync up and basically watch along with us on Sky F1. The testing is on. And what's the worst livery on the grid this year, asks Jay, as Lewis Hamilton comes into the pits. The worst livery, Alpine. What's yours, Katie? Oh no, Katie's disappeared again. Has Katie disappeared? Has Katie disappeared? She's just scratching her chin. Oh dear. That's
Did it cut out
she's
again?
back. Yeah. You literally you just got froze on you scratching your chin.
I think the
And-
worst one is.
Oh, you froze again. What's going on, Katie? Who's on your internet?
Just me.
Who's up at this time playing games or whatever?
No one. It's just me. But yeah, I said McLaren and Alpine are tied.
Okay, McLaren doesn't sit well with me either, to be honest. Although they have changed it a little bit, haven't they? Their
Yeah,
livery, a
tweaked
bit
it.
more black, but still doesn't really sit too well. With
They
me.
had, yeah. Mercedes had put something over like a vent on the side, which is what was flapping. So maybe they were trialing and seeing what it was like without the vents. But whatever it was, the piece of material I put over it just blew off. So it didn't work.
Oh, so there's the Alfa Romeo out there on track at the moment. As Katie mentioned, we haven't seen it properly until today. Looks a little bit of a handful, and do I like it? It's all right. I'm
quite
not
blocky.
not mad about it. Yeah, it's not as maybe
And they
flowing
get extra
as.
points for the wheel covers.
Yeah, the wheel covers are cool.
It looks so cool. It looks very like Bahrain, actually.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
it
colour
actually is.
scheme.
It's the Bahrain
Maybe
colours,
they're
isn't
doing
it?
like a tribute to
Yeah, they'll
each
do it for
circuit
each
they're
one.
at.
Yeah, they'll just. Oh, that'd be amazing.
That'd be cute, wouldn't
They
it?
should do that. They should
I'm
definitely.
going to
do
write
that.
in and say, hello, Alfa Romeo.
I think you should do a country flag for every single race. Not that you have a million other things to do.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Make the wheels pretty, okay?
Please.
So here's Zhou in the final sector. A couple of seconds down on Leclerc through that middle sector at the moment. So nothing crazy about to happen for Guan Yu Zhou. He's on the C3 tyre at the moment. Through the final corner he goes. Locks up the front right. Does not look fast at all. And loses the rear as well. These cars look like a handful at the moment for some of these teams. And that's what we want to see. That is what we want to see. Them not fully knowing or understanding how these cars handle. And that is going to make for a very exciting round one next weekend. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. And Mercedes don't take pole by 2 seconds. But we don't know. We'll see.
It's a nice idea. One thing that we were a little bit concerned last year, obviously, we had 3 days of testing before the season got underway. And those 3 days of testing were at Bahrain. And we were certainly thinking, oh God, like they're just going to spend 3 days back to back getting all the data they need. And then a week later, they'll be racing here. So there won't be any excitement or any kind of unpredictability. But we were wrong because it was a great race weekend. And it was the first time that we saw that like early Hamilton Verstappen battle with obviously Verstappen getting pole and really shaking things up. And then the whole drama in the last few laps where he overtook off the track and had to give the place back, as well as other stuff that happened over the weekend. Sebastian Vettel just being a complete rogue and getting 5 penalty points over the space of one race weekend.
We were questioning, weren't we? Will F1 have to
oh my God,
actually enforce the 12 penalty point ban rule? That's what we were all questioning if Seb Vettel had a difficult few races, but thankfully a 4-time world champion didn't have to come under that particular bracket. And I wonder what happens when that genuinely does, if we do have a Lewis Hamilton or a Max Verstappen that hits 12 penalty points, are they actually going to enforce a race ban? Like, that is something that I can't possibly see happening. But at the same time, how do they get around that? Although, to be fair, rules have been bent in the previous Grand Prix. So I'm sure there's ways around it. But
it's true. I mean, Hamilton got very close a few years ago. He got to 10.
Yeah.
And then 2 of them disappeared because they protested it and they were like, okay, we'll take 2 off. But now Hamilton's got so few, and it's actually Verstappen is the one that's closer of the 2 of them. He went from having no penalty points on his license for ages, and then after Monza, he racked up a sweet ton amount of penalty points. I think he's on like 8 now. Let me pull up these penalty points.
Yeah, let me pull up the penalty points, innit?
Pull up the penalty points, because normally I look at them every race weekend, because in case you don't know, and if you want to find out who's got so many penalty points, if you go over to WTF1, or I can, Matt, if you can put the link in the chat or something, we can find out how many they have, and we'll update an article every week on WTF1.com if you want to find out who's got how many. So Max Verstappen has 7, as well as Sergio Perez. Yuki Tsunoda got the most last year. He's on 8 penalty points, and obviously it's 12 until you get a race ban. So he's got to be on his best behaviour.
The crucial thing for that is with the expiration date as well for these. How long do Verstappen, Tsunoda, etc. have to go before they get a penalty point expiring? I imagine Verstappen has to be quite a good boy in the first half of the season.
Yeah, massively, because his all came in from September pretty much. So his first penalty point, which was the Italian Grand Prix with his crash with Hamilton, and then he got another 2 in Qatar. He got 1 in Saudi, and then another 2 in Saudi. So he picked up a lot in the last few months of the season. But yeah, Hamilton's on 2 penalty points, and he got those 2 penalty points when he had his crash with Verstappen at the British Grand Prix. Yeah. Bottas is on 5. 1 of those, or 2 of those, are for you remember he did a spin in the pit lane in Austria?
Oh yeah, I remember
which
that.
was like the weirdest spin I've ever seen in Formula 1.
It was in free practice as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in like FP1 or something. I was like, Bottas, honey, calm down.
That was when there was the whole rumours about Bottas versus Russell and whatnot, and there was an amazing screenshot of him just sideways in the pit lane, and I remember tweeting, yeah, but can George Russell do this?
Oh my God. It was quite an achievement to to do something like that. I've never seen anything like it ever in F1, but fair play.
No, it's very odd,
very safe,
especially considering it being dry as well. That was
yeah, it was just like the weirdest thing. Checo's on 7, Lando's on 5. He had quite a lot to his name, but they expired over the course of the year, so now he's only on 5. Danny Rick, no penalty points. Charles Leclerc, no penalty points. Carlos Sainz, no penalty points. Alonso's got 2, Ocon's got 1, Vettel's on 6, Lance is on 5. Kimi, obviously it won't matter too much. He got 2 and Gio got 3, but they're not in F1 anymore, so that doesn't really matter. Pierre's on 3, Yuki's on 8, Mick got none, and Mazepin got 6, but he's not in F1 either now. And Russell's on 1 penalty point, and Latifi's on 6. There we go. And that will be an article that will be updated throughout the course of the year. So if you want to know more about them, then make sure you keep your eyes peeled on WTF1.com after race weekends.
And we'll post it on social every time anyway, after every race, so you'll be able to see that as it updates. So I've just put up on the screen the Mercedes from Barcelona and the Mercedes from Bahrain. So Benji, thankfully, has done a nice little side-by-side, or as close as possible as we can get to it. And you can see some visible differences, definitely on the side pod area. Maybe not as extreme as we're kind of seeing the Bahrain edition now. It doesn't, it's not massively striking. I feel like Barcelona, they still had quite narrow side pods, but yeah, they've kind of ironed out that last little bulge around the Petronas logo, which, to be fair, they've moved around a little bit the sponsors as well from Barcelona to Bahrain. But yeah, so there you go. There's a nice little visual comparison if you were wondering what the difference is between the two. And in fact, to be fair, if Benji wants to send you that image, Katie, or for myself, we could pop that on WTF1, because I think that's quite an interesting image to see the side-by-side stuff. So Benji, if you can send over that image for Twitter, that would be lovely. Another image, this is a caption competition once again. What's Gunther Steiner just said to Mick Schumacher? I would like to know. Caption competition. Holler. Tell me what you think. So apparently Mercedes have got rid of their Ripley floor, which has gone fairly under the radar, given the fuss around the zero pods. That's what they're calling them, zero pods. Or at least that's what Luke from the race has called them.
Nice. I've also just realised I was having this whole conversation about Ocon and I was on mute. So, well done me. I was just going to say...
Oh, what were you talking to yourself?
Yeah, I was just chatting away, and then you talked over me, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I realised I was still on mute. I was like, "Oh, no."
Yeah, I'm not that rude. I apologise.
No, that's all right. I was just gonna say, so Ocon has gone out and he's gone second, but more importantly, he's been using DRS down the main straight. And if you are new to F1 testing and maybe you didn't catch anything in Barcelona, Alpine were having some serious difficulties with their DRS, and they weren't using it. They weren't deploying it. So it's good to see that they've obviously ironed out whatever issues they might have had with that. And it's obviously doing them quite well because he's currently sat in P2, which is better than last.
It is better than last. 1.899 seconds behind Charles Leclerc, so still no real representative lap times, as you would expect in the first morning of day one of official testing in Bahrain. You know, a lot of teams have been running aero rakes and whatnot. They're just out there collecting data, a lot of them, as much as I'd love to say that Ferrari are the best. But yeah, we still haven't seen a lap time from Albon or Norris. Of course, we haven't seen Haas either, but they aren't running this morning. Hopefully, Benji, if you're listening, you'll be able to send us some more side-by-side comparisons with the likes of Ferrari, etc. That would be nice to see. A lot of not smashing his door captions coming in. Don't anger Kevin, or your door will be smashed, says Juan. Have you guys seen the new Mercedes sidepod? Yes, we have, Jonathan. Yeah, if you've just joined, welcome. That has been the big talking point, is the Mercedes sidepod, or lack of. You want to drive the car next, says Riley. Good stuff. So let me update to a picture of the McLaren. Here you go. There's a McLaren with the aero rakes on. Lando Norris out there after Danny Rick was essentially not available to drive this morning or today because he's unwell. So I hope Danny Rick gets better soon. You know a driver's unwell if he misses a day testing. When it's like the most crucial part of the year before the start of the season. So I hope Danny gets better. Don't have many times, do you, where drivers get ill? And it's such a, you can't just call in sick from work. Like you have to be well for these Grand Prix weekends, but also you have to do a lot of media stuff and mixing with people and pushing your body to the absolute limit in terms of, training for the new season. So it must be such a fine balancing act to get the most out of your body, but also be able to recover enough so that you don't get unwell. It's an interesting one.
It is. I mean, he was in the car yesterday doing some filming days, so I don't know why McLaren haven't actually stated why he is poorly, and they've just said he's unwell and that Lando has taken his place. Like you say, wishing him lots of rest and hope that he's better for tomorrow, because these are important days.
Very important days. Very, very important.
None of Lando in the car for all 3 days.
I'm sure Lando would like that, but
I'm sure he would, but I'm sure his first of all, getting data for the team, it's good to get data from more than one person.
Yes.
For that validity. But I'm not sure if they've got their reserve drivers last year were Paul di Resta, but also Stoffel van Dorn and Nick de Vries. So I don't know. I would imagine that rather than just have Lando in the car for all 3 days, they'd want to get at least someone in there for a bit of different feedback if Danny Rick couldn't do it. But I'm sure maybe he'll be back probably tomorrow. He just needs a day of rest.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Definitely. Vettel's gone second fastest with the fastest final sector of anybody, just under 7 tenths behind.
Like quite a squirrely lap as well. So I'm sure there's more time on the table.
Yeah, definitely. He's on the C2 tyre as well, so not the grippiest by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, Vettel slotting in second. Albon's gone third, 1.841 seconds behind Charles Leclerc. We've got Sergio Perez out there on an outlap, so is Lewis Hamilton, Vettel and Albon. So we've got 4 cars out on track at the moment. And Vettel slightly faster in that final sector than Charles Leclerc by 37 thousandths of a second. Hopefully we'll get some onboards of Perez and Hamilton as they are winding up for some laps. Whether they'll be push laps, we don't know. Here's a replay of Vettel getting a big old swapper on out of turn 2, but collects it nicely.
Yeah, and that's the time that's just gone second quickest.
It is,
so,
yeah.
Like I say, there's a lot to get still.
Yeah, a lot of time still on the board for all these teams. Here's Hamilton. Very interested to see how this car handles. He's on the C2 tyre as well. He's got Vettel behind him. He's heading towards the final corner. Will Hamilton go for I'm not going to say push lap, but push the loud pedal a little bit. He's going to go. Is he going to open DRS? He does not. He does not open DRS. Is there any porpoising of that Mercedes as he heads down towards turn 1? No, I think it looks reasonably stable, to be honest with you. Both himself and Vettel. Vettel quite close behind. Getting some data of following a car, I'm sure. Hopefully it is beautiful to drive behind a fellow Formula 1 car. I'll believe it when I see it. But Hamilton clearly on some sort of just installation run, data run, but certainly not a push run. Or at least not in qualifying trim. Hamilton 4.5 seconds back in 8th for his fastest time. And doesn't seem too bothered really with headline times apart from the final few minutes of Barcelona. Here's Vettel. Oh, Hamilton a little bit squirrely, and they're very close going down towards the double left-hander, the downhill double left-hander. Hamilton runs wide again. Can't seem to get the car slowed down in that area. Maybe struggling a little bit with the brakes. But yeah, Hamilton running wide again. Whether that was just taking some cautious avoiding action of Sebastian Vettel, who now lets Hamilton go. But I mean, just from you look at it as an outside perspective, that Mercedes doesn't look like something that's the easiest thing to drive, and very squirrely on power out of certain corners. Here's a replay. I'm going to sneeze again. There we go, lovely stuff. Yeah, Hamilton does run wide out of that double left-hander, the downhill one. Really easy to lock a brake, as we've seen many times in that corner before. And Hamilton not troubling the top of the timesheets. Perez is improving out there. He goes second fastest, 0.6 of a second back from Charles Leclerc. 2.5 hours remaining in day 1 of this morning session. And right now we have 5 cars out on track: Leclerc, Perez, Vettel, Albon and Hamilton.
Lovely stuff.
Our team's still struggling with porpoising, asks Jordan. It doesn't seem to be as bad. Maybe Alpine was to a degree when we just saw the off-board a little while ago, but it seems as though a lot of teams have at least figured out a solution. Whether that solution is quick enough, whether they're going to have to balance out how much porpoising the drivers have, because if it costs them too much time to fix the porpoising problem, there's going to have to be a happy medium that they find. How are you watching, mates? Says Akshat. It's on F1 Sky Sports, and they essentially.
I believe it's also on F1 TV. If you have
F1 TV as well. There you go. Thank you, Katie.
I think. Don't quote me on
No,
that.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it is on F1 TV. But there's Pietro Fittipaldi, who was hoping to do some running in that Haas, but
his brother Enzo there as well.
Yeah, they're brilliant. Those two, they stream a lot. They've popped into some of my streams and been like, "Oh, hey Matt, I love WTF1 and stuff," which is quite cool.
Well, we love them if they love us.
The feeling is mutual.
Let them anyway. I'm not that mean, not that shallow. But yeah, the Fittipaldi bros are a good laugh. Because Enzo was testing here only last week for F2 and F3 testing, and they had a sandstorm, which is something that we had last year, if you'll remember. I think it was the end of the first day of testing. There was a huge sandstorm in the afternoon, which made for some outstanding photographs, but naturally was just a bit disruptive trying to do F1 testing in the middle of a physical sandstorm. So maybe it's already been and gone this year's sandstorm for last week's testing. But we are in the middle of a desert, so anything is possible.
Yep. There's not really any chance of rain, but there's certainly a chance of sand. And I'm just going to pop up that comparison image once again for people wondering or just joining. A lot of talk about the Mercedes lack of side pods. Running aboard with Leclerc, it's so interesting to watch. He's on the C4 tyre, so one of the softest compounds, not the softest, but the second softest, into the final corner. It just seems like they're having to drive these cars so differently to what we've seen in the past, just constantly wrestling and almost afraid to throw these cars into certain corners, especially in the slower speed stuff. I imagine in the faster speed, it's a little bit better with the use of ground effect, but it's such a learning curve at the moment for all the teams. And these next 3 days are going to be so crucial for figuring out setup work. Of course, it's going to put them in reasonable stead when we get to next week, because, of course, they are racing in exactly the same racetrack. So they will have a good idea of how the tyres work and how they behave over the course of a race distance. But once we then get to Saudi Arabia for round 2, it's going to be a completely different ball game. And I think that's when we really will start to see some struggles highlighted, because, they essentially get 24 hours of free practice before free practice next weekend for this Bahrain Grand Prix on the 20th, as the red tape comes out and you can't go any further as the Ferrari gets wheeled back into the garage. Perez, Albon and Gasly are the 3 cars out there at the moment. Sergio Perez into turn 1 on the C2 tyre. Currently second, 0.6 back from Leclerc. No aero brakes on that Red Bull now. Just no Flovis paint either from what I can see. Just going for some data runs, some installation runs. Definitely not pushing by the looks of that off board. But yeah, Red Bull not happy with Mercedes. If you've just joined, they are not happy at all with the
one
side
individual.
pod.
I wonder if you can guess who it is.
Yeah. If it's Christian Horner, I think we can collectively say they, because he is the old big boss, isn't he? Well, at least the team
True,
principal.
but he also loves just stirring.
Loves a moan. Loves a moan. But we don't even know if the Mercedes side pod works yet. But he doesn't think they're in the spirit of the rules. Alex Albon into
I don't
that
think he's
tricky...
in the spirit of the rules.
No. Into that tricky double left-hander, Albon locking up as well. So having similar struggles to what Hamilton had. Does he lock up his... Yeah, just a little bit on the front left. And runs wide. Thankfully, no wall there to greet him. He's got a bit of runoff to carry on his merry way. But yes, that Williams looking very gorgeous indeed. And Alex Albon heading to the final corner. He is on the C1 tyre. So the hardest compound of them all. Giving that a little run out to see how the car behaves. No DRS open, which would suggest no push lap for Albon as he continues circulating the Bahrain Grand Prix circuit.
Yeah, it's going to be maybe a repetitive day. We're just getting those laps in and banking as much information as possible.
What do you mean repetitive? It's incredible, Katie. It's so much entertainment.
I think it's because my brain is on like 3 things at once. I'm just like, oh my God, there's so much is going on.
So much going on.
But yeah, I like the Williams livery. Looks really nice. But I just can't get over how empty the halo is in terms of sponsors, as they shove a F1 graphic over the top of it. But yeah, you'd think that someone would come along and snap that space up. I don't know, put like a Duracell bunny or something on it. I don't know.
Oopsie.
It's one of their sponsors, right?
Yeah, Duracell bunny. Lovely stuff. I was just about to read...
on the Williams onboard. Obviously, all the teams have different designs when it comes to steering wheels. Williams are still sticking with the steering wheel that hasn't got the LED screen on it. The screen is like attached to the car rather than the steering wheel. So if you compare this Williams onboard to somebody like Mercedes, you'll notice that Hamilton has got all the information that he would possibly need on that steering wheel. But Williams still going for a bit more of an old school vibe with their steering wheel design.
Old school.
Steering wheel's a steering wheel.
Steering wheel.
When you go left, it turns left, and you go right, it turns right. Then you should be all right.
Gloves and steering wheel. That's all you need if you're Kimi Raikkonen.
Yeah.
There's a side-by-side between like a 50-50 of the Red Bull versus the Mercedes up on screen now. I was about to read a question that was asked on the Race Live Hub from a guy called Matteo, who asked Mark Hughes. Merck showcased quite impressively that it's possible to pack the car extremely tightly. This seems to me like it's an advantage in drag, as there's less sticking out, and also an aerodynamic advantage as they get lots of airflow to the beam wing and the diffuser. Oh, that's just moved. So why did some teams, Red Bull, Aston and Ferrari, still decide to run with such huge side pods nevertheless? So Mark Hughes replies with, there are so many different ways of skinning the cat, Matteo. Mercedes has decided this is the best way it found. Yes, it's always a trade-off between downforce and drag, but it's also about how you are creating the downforce. There are an infinite number of combinations. The big side pod opening with a big undercut versus the smaller one with no undercut are both valid ways of finding this ultimate trade-off. So there you go. I guess there was, last year, we spoke about how big, how chonky the Alpine airbox was last year, and we thought, how could that possibly work? Going to be huge amounts of drag, but then Alpine were very strong in certain races. So that just shows that just because it looks thin and nimble doesn't necessarily mean it is the quickest car out there. There's also another question: is the heavy porpoising we saw on the Mercedes in the first few laps also influenced by the side pods, or can Mercedes just solve the problem with changes on the floor? Mark Hughes says, the porpoising for all these cars is from the floor and how much low pressure is created beneath the floor, which is very much influenced by the side pods. If the rear of the floor is sucked too far down by the negative pressure, then there's no longer enough space for the airflow and it stalls, which releases the downward pressure on the car and the process starts all over again. So that's when it starts bouncing. Mercedes is running with a floor stay on the rear. Mercedes is running with a floor stay on the rear. If the floor here... that makes no sense to me. A bigger, stronger looking version of what they had at the end of the Barcelona test. So yes, they will be able to tune where the porpoising starts with how rigidly they control that rear floor height. Because the threshold of the porpoising will be different from track to track, you want to have the maximum available downforce from the floor and then be able to adjust it with the stiffness of that rear corner of floor. You don't want so weak that the porpoising is not encountered anywhere, as that would mean you are giving up lap time away at the tracks which don't induce as much of it. So you need to be able to tune it. So there you go. That kind of almost backs up the point that I said of, they're going to have a lot of information for Bahrain and how the car reacts with all their different setup changes they're allowed to try. But as soon as we get to Saudi and the rest of the calendar, they're going to have to be very adaptable with how they fix that problem and also setting up these brand new cars full stop. So, there's a few questions. If you want to see more stuff like that, it's over on the Race Live Hub. So that's good stuff. Thank you to our friends and colleagues at the race. What's happening out on track? Much. We've got a trailer going on at the moment. Okay, so I'm not seeing much at the moment.
No, we've just had Lando Norris come in from being out on track. And now we've got a trailer promoting, I guess, a new season.
Cool. Good stuff. Slim Jim says...
If you're watching testing, you probably think you're going to watch the season. But, appreciate it.
So Slim Jim says, can't wait for Drive to Survive tomorrow. Is everybody looking forward to Drive to Survive? Are we apprehensive? Are we not watching it at all? Let me know in the chat what your opinion of Drive to Survive is and how you're feeling of the upcoming season. Anything else? Any other? Where is Norris or Ricardo? Says Wah 607. Well, Ricardo is ill and Lando has been in and out. They've not done a huge amount of running yet, McLaren, for this first morning. Not been a rush of laps as maybe we were all hoping and anticipating for day one. We've got a few no's, a few mehs, no drama needed. DTS meh, run a pole. Yeah, I'll run a pole. No, yeah, good idea.
Love a pole.
Are we excited for Drive to Survive? Yes, no, and then won't be watching. Ask your community. Let's see what people say. Matt, were you able to see the last 2 episodes already? No, haven't seen them yet, Patrick. So I know the likes of Will Buxton has because he tweeted about it, but then again, he was in the show, so I'm not surprised that he's seen it. Is that your voice I'm hearing on Sky Sports F1? I don't think so, the Flying Dutchman. If that's the person you're listening to now, that's not me. No, that is Tom Clarkson. So yeah, that's not me. Not me. Let's see what people are saying. 56% so far are excited for Drive to Survive. 55 now. 26% are no, and 19% are won't be watching. It's a shame, really, because I feel like Drive to Survive had a really good opportunity to encapsulate and embrace all F1 fans. But I feel like, obviously, they've gone down the drama route, but that's not the problem as such, at least not for me. For this year, it just felt like a little bit of a lack of effort and a little bit of a lack of understanding of how to shape everything that went on. I know it's a really difficult job, don't get me wrong, but I know the lack of chronology. That's a word, isn't it? Chronology is something. I think it's chronology, but the lack of that does affect, annoy a lot of fans. It annoys me a little bit, but this year was just, as people would have seen with my review, I was just a bit disappointed with how they shaped everything. At least in those first 8 episodes, as I say, 9 and 10 might be the greatest things ever, but that is 8 episodes down, and there wasn't a huge amount, was there, Katie, that were massive takeaways, at least in my opinion. Let everybody know what yours were.
Yeah, for a season that had so much emotion and excitement and incredible moments, like Ocon's first win, or Ricciardo getting that redemption for McLaren, them going so long without a victory, and obviously all the drama they had with McLaren Honda and the importance of that victory. Like, I feel as if, I see F1 edits on TikTok and things like that made me feel more watching things like that than what Drive to Survive this season has done. I know it's a very difficult job to try and encapsulate that, special feeling you get when you watch Formula One, and some of these big moments they're going to be difficult to try and summarize in a quick documentary series of 40 minutes or whatever. But like seeing Ricciardo win in Monza, I was just like, oh, okay, right. Like, it's nice that it was obviously covered, but I don't know. After watching it, several moments on it, I just felt a bit meh. And there wasn't any really crazy, apart from the Haas episode, which, my God, that's aged badly. But there weren't really any episodes where there was much behind the scenes content. Like, there's not really going to be anything, in my opinion, like where we got really good access behind the scenes and it became like a meme on the internet. There's some good stuff with Yuki Tsunoda, but apart from that, like, it's just so much race footage and onboards rather than actual behind the scenes stuff. I don't know if that's teams have now realized the power of offering fans that behind the scenes footage, because when Formula One and Drive to Survive, that relationship just started, obviously Liberty had just taken over and F1 was still very much a closed book and we didn't get that much behind the scenes access, but teams have seen how much fans love it and they want more of it. And so rather than rely on Netflix to provide it, they're like, well, we'll just do it in-house. And I feel like that's been represented in the level of access Netflix have got this year. Personally, I sound like a bit of a downer with it. I'm sure, anything that is just more F1 footage, us F1 fans will absorb it and we'll watch it. But yeah, it's, I feel like F1 needs to have a stern word with some of the teams and be like, you need to give more access, because otherwise it's becoming a glorified season review that's not in chronological order, and misses out really important parts of the season. So,
right. Someone just said, stop spoiling Drive to Survive. Max Verstappen won the championship. There you go. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, it's fine. We'll stop. We'll stop with the Drive to Survive talk if it's something. We didn't really spoil anything. We're just speaking about an opinion. But hey ho.
If you're watching testing,
right, hold the fort. Charles Leclerc's gone nearly half a second quicker in the first sector on the C3 medium tyres. We're about to ramp up the commentary here as Charles Leclerc on a fast lap. Middle sector now for Charles Leclerc. He's coming towards that double left-hander, the very tricky downhill left-hander. He's bouncing all over the shot, but he kisses the apex. Mwah! Beautifully. Now onto the straight. DRS wide open, pushing absolutely to the limit. Don't know if he is or not, but I'm just going to say he is. Now it's this next left-hander, a little bit uphill, needs to be a bit patient on the throttle, runs it wide, little kiss of the exit curb under the Aramco sign. We're now heading towards that middle sector split. What's it going to be? Oh my God, he's a second quicker than his previous best. Charles Leclerc, Ferrari, they're looking very strong indeed. He's only got one more corner to go, and he's focusing on it right now. He's going to break around the 100-metre board really hard with those medium compound tyres. Is he going to get to the apex? Can't really see with this angle, but he's going to push towards the line anyway. Doesn't trouble the track limits on the exit. Charles Leclerc to the line. It is going to be a 1 minute 34.531. Goes 1.4 seconds quicker than what he managed before. So he is now 2 seconds clear of anybody else.
Beautiful.
Just ramped it up.
Well, Matt, while you're on that unbelievable hype for Charles Leclerc,
you're going to go do something.
I have got to get some breakfast. And also, I'm recording this in my kitchen / living room, and I have people that live here that also want their breakfast. So I'm going to let them grab some food.
No problem.
I know. Do they not know that F1 testing is on? But
no worries.
There you go. Have fun filling. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Have fun filling your breakfast sandwich. There goes Katie. She will return. But for now, you have me. Hopefully that's okay for a few moments. So yes, Ferrari 34.531. Let me have a look. Bahrain round 1. Let me have a look at some times from last year. Free practice 1. So free practice 1 last year for the 2021 Bahrain Grand Prix. 31.394 was Max Verstappen's fastest time in FP1. So we're still 3 seconds off that, but we're still going to enjoy it. Charles Leclerc has gone faster than Nikita Mazepin's fastest FP1 time. So there you go. What was Bahrain qualifying 2021 times? Let's have a look. Here we go. The fastest time was a 1 minute 28.997 from Max Verstappen. So we're a solid nearly 6 seconds, 5.5 seconds off what we saw last year. But still, we're very excited by this Ferrari hype train. So 56% of you said that you're looking forward to, or 57 now, said you're looking forward to Drive to Survive. 18% not watching, and 26% not excited. I'm going to end that poll, and I'm going to ask another one. And I'm sure some of you probably know what I'm going to ask. And that is, are you on the Ferrari hype train? Yes or no? Simple as. It's up there now. So let me know what your thoughts are. Katie leaving is not fair, man. Good one. Love that. Love that. Hamilton locking up again on the front left tyre on those C3 mediums. And sparking away as well. Bit of porpoising. Oh, wow, that does bounce a lot. That's a different kind of sparking this year. It's not consistent sparking, it's just bouncing sparking. So every time the car hits the ground, that Mercedes is creating some serious sparkage. Charles Leclerc once again. Is he going to go for another push lap? His DRS is open. Is that a DRS zone? I don't know. Is he trying to get some headlines? Not sure. Either way, Charles Leclerc, 2 tenths down in the first sector. So he is on another push lap. Is the Ferrari driver in that beautiful, beautiful livery. Looks very planted, to be fair, on the traction zone out of that corner. Can't remember what turn that is. Maybe 8, not sure. Don't quote me on that. But now into that downhill left-hander. No problems at all. DRS wide open once again. And Charles Leclerc in that Ferrari. Is he going to try and improve a bit more? Hamilton is P2 at the moment with a 36.365. So he has improved a little bit and got within 2 seconds of Charles Leclerc. What's the middle sector like? I don't think it's going to be as quick. It is not. It is 6 tenths down. So maybe Ferrari just testing another sort of push lap to see how the tyres react. Are the tyres able to go another half push lap? The answer is no at the moment. The boinging in Mercedes is crazy. It is. It is Dimas. Has to be said. Guys, are you watching testing? No. Oh, you can. Oh no, we don't need to be promoting that AK Gaming. I'm afraid, my friend, because that's not good. We can't do that, unfortunately. If you want to go do that, you have to find it for yourself. 2 hours 7 minutes to go in the first morning of testing. Welcome to 7,500 of you that are joining us whilst it is very much on television. If you want to see it, it's on Sky TV or Sky F1, and also on F1 TV, I believe. Yes, they are on the mediums. I think that's what I said, Victor. The C3 tyres for Charles Leclerc. 34.531 is Charles Leclerc's fastest lap time. Katie is getting her breakfast. I am halfway through my breakfast biscuits, but look, I'm just vibing. There's a picture of Kevin Magnussen I've just been sent, so let me put that up on screen. There you go. There's old K-Mag back in Formula One once again. So there you go. What have we got on board with? Aston Martin here. So let's have a look. Sebastian Vettel out there at the moment. He is currently fourth fastest on a 36.637. Is he going to go for a push lap? He's on the C4 tyres. The white hard C4s. Hard braking into turn 1 goes Sebastian Vettel. I'm not sure his DRS was open then. We'll get a good idea as to whether it is as he goes down this straight. No DRS open for Sebastian Vettel. Going to see a replay actually of Seb into this. We keep talking about it. Downhill left-hander. And once again, another lock-up on the front left for Seb, but does not run wide like we saw with Hamilton earlier on. And just a small lock-up. No problems for the 4-time champion. Vettel helmet, love it, says Umut. Yeah, it's a lovely, lovely tribute for Seb there. Very much love that. Thoughts, of course, still very much out to all the Ukrainian people. It's a horrifying situation, and one that we all hope is going to be resolved as soon as possible, because it is incredibly sad. Here's Lewis Hamilton. We're riding on board with him. You can see the Ineos sponsor, but nothing really else on that T-cam, which is a bit crazy to see. So Hamilton, is he going to go for a push lap? This will be interesting to watch if that is the case. Want to see how this car reacts into the braking zone of turn 1. Hits the apex very nicely. Ooh, a little bit of a tricky turn 2, but still not too bad. Does it look a bit more planted than what we saw earlier with the off-boards? It does indeed at the moment. Hamilton through the first sector, just under half a second down on Leclerc's fastest time, so it's not going to trouble the top of the timesheets. Crofty has now entered the commentary booth with Anthony Davidson. Downhill left-hander, no problems for Hamilton in terms of locking now, but doesn't look like he's pushing a huge amount, it has to be said. It's 7 seconds off what the cars can do. Chill, guys. SG Racer. I wouldn't argue that these cars can do 7 second a lap quicker times than. I know that they are about 6 or so off pole last year, but we have to expect these cars to be slower than what we saw last year, to be honest with you. Hamilton improving in that middle sector on his current fastest lap time, which is 1.8 off Leclerc. Round the final corner he comes. A much more stable lap for Lewis Hamilton in that good-looking Mercedes. Did something just come off the car? I'm not sure. Maybe that was a bit of rubber. Over the line, he does not improve. 1.9 seconds off Charles Leclerc, the Ferrari. How to stream it in India? I'm not sure, Jay. I'm really not sure. I don't know if F1 TV is available in your country, but the timer stopped. I apologise. Sorry. I don't know. Do you need the timer? I mean, I've showed you it. Yeah, it's because every time I come out of a different window, I apologise. But we're back again. We're back. No problems whatsoever. That Merc does not look stable, says Mark. Looked better on that lap than previous, but then they were 4 or 5 seconds off the pace then. We don't know about fuel loads. We don't know about their run plans. We don't know about anything at the moment. But what we did know from last year's testing was that they were really struggling. Remember, Hamilton had that spin and beached himself in the gravel. Yeah, for India, F1 TV, people are saying. So get F1 TV. Good stuff. Trevor F. Crofty, the most biased commentator in an international broadcaster ever. That's not the case, Trevor. If you listen to Dutch commentary or any other there's always bias towards a driver that's especially in Dutch commentary. I think Crofty and Martin Brundle aren't that biased, to be honest with you. They don't showcase that. I disagree. I think we could have it a lot worse if you listen to other national commentary teams, because of course Crofty is worldwide feed anyway for those that don't have their own specific broadcast team. So as much as Crofty gets a lot of stick, and sometimes I do poke fun at things that he gets wrong, he is a much better commentator than other teams that we've had in the past, and he is very, very good at hype moments. You cannot deny that. He is very, very good. He does make mistakes, and sometimes he needs to get on top of those, but he is a brilliant commentator, and we are very lucky. You said international. Okay, fair enough. But there aren't many other international commentary teams, are there? I think Crofty does pretty well to cover both bases, but hey-ho. 2 hours to go for this morning session, and Charles Leclerc still fastest from Hamilton, Perez, Vettel, Norris, Albon, Ocon, Zhou and Gasly. Haas are the only team not to run, but that's because they weren't ready for this morning's session because of some logistical issues with their cargo. A Brit calling the British commentary not biased. LeMayo. Oh dear. Oh, there's a lock-up from Sebastian Vettel round the final corner. That is a big lock-up, actually. Wow. Oh, my days. Sebastian Vettel's had a massive lock-up on both of those front tyres into the final corner, and that has ruined that set of C2 tyres. So yes, we are into the final 2 hours of day one morning session. Charles Leclerc's out there, Lewis Hamilton's out there, and Pierre Gasly. 3 cars out on track at the moment. How can we watch in Australia? I am not sure, Adam. Just one question. Wasn't Alex Yates going to be the F1 TV commentator? He was F1 TV commentary, was part of the F1 TV commentary, but he's gone to Channel 4 since. So there you go.
I'm back.
Welcome back, Katie. And what did you have for breakfast?
I'm going to get bullied for this. I had avocado on toast.
Wow.
Because I have no cereal.
No, why not? Bougie.
I have an avocado and have toast, so might as well. But yeah, not a simple breakfast. But a few things I've noted while I've been away. I've also made myself a cup of tea, which is why it took so long. I don't know which one is more important, depending on your priority list. I guess Christian Horner, obviously, he made comments allegedly earlier saying that the new Mercedes violates the spirits of the regulation. For us, some of the parts are not legal. Red Bull have now issued a statement to say Christian Horner hasn't spoken to any media today.
Oh, so which media has reported that?
Amos, which is German, and normally a very reliable source. So they reported it this morning, and now, Red Bull have said that Horner has not spoken with any media today or made any comments about the Mercedes car. So either he's said that on the sly walking into the paddock. I mean, obviously, Amos are a very respected publication, and who knows? This is going to be the difficult thing. If they've got it on a dictaphone, then he's kind of in trouble. But if it's just a note that's been scribbled, then it's the whole thing of how can you prove that he's actually said that? I don't know, but that's controversial. And also the Pit Stop Boys, who, as you will know, do the Supermax song, have released a song supporting Lando Norris.
Have they?
And it's really funny. It's called Let's Go Lando. And I don't know if I can play it because maybe we'll get demonetized if I play this music.
Yeah. I mean, if we were to play it, I'd play it through mine so people can hear it natively. But
they're basically saying, let's go Lando.
Is it on Spotify?
I don't know. I've just seen it on YouTube. But yeah, that's the big takeaway point from testing today so far.
What's it called?
The Pit Stop Boys.
Let's Go Lando
or something.
Oh yeah, we'll play a few moments of it. 1 second, let me sort this out. It's not on Spotify, so that would Pit stop Lando.
They're called the Pit Stop Boys.
Pit stop boys Lando. I've got reactions to it. Oh, pit stop. Let's go Lando.
I can send it to you. I've seen it on Twitter.
Oh, it's on their YouTube.
Not sure.
2 days ago, Supermax. Yeah, if you can send that to me, because I can't see it on their YouTube channel.
Should I send it to you on Slack?
Yeah, send it to me on Slack. That works for me. It's not on YouTube, says Sprang. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. The Pit Stop Boys made a song for Lando.
Let's go, Lando, Lando is the way. Let's go, Lando, he is Let's go, Lando, he is one of us. He's racing like a lion, shooting me.
Wow, that's a banger. Let's go, Lando. I'm playing it again.
Let's go, Lando, Lando is the way. Let's go, Lando, he is here to stay. Let's go, Lando, he is one of us. He's racing
Catchy, right?
That's an absolute banger, to be fair.
That's a tune. If that's not
better
woken
than that's
people
better than
up.
Supermax. I'm saying that right now. That is better than Supermax.
British bias.
My ears just died, says Benji.
As in our Benji.
Sorry, everybody. Yeah, Benji. All right, Benji, you're supposed to be on our side, even if your ears did just die.
Yeah. We can make funny memes, Benji. No, I'm joking.
People, there's definitely a.
Let's go, Lando.
Everyone's ears just exploded. I apologise. I didn't think it was going to be as loud as it was. Too loud. All right, let me play it again, but a little bit lower. I'll just move it. Yeah, that's a banger. I don't care what anyone says. That is a banger. Oh, British bias. Oh, you wouldn't say that if it was Max Verstappen. Well, I absolutely love Super Max as well. So you can all jog on. 3 cars out on track at the moment. Leclerc, Hamilton and Gasly. Hamilton.
We need them to do a Charles Leclerc song.
Yes, I will play that forever, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. Super Max is better, says Abhinav. Well, it's
Super Max is iconic. I think Super Max is better.
Yeah.
It's just special.
That's cringe, lol. I love that. I love how it's so cool, isn't it, on Twitter and like online to be like, that's cringe. That's cringe, guys. That's so cringe.
What's cringe is telling people what they can and can't enjoy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cringe.
It's cringe when people use the word cringe, if I'm being completely honest with you. That's the only time things are cringe. Does that now make me cringe because I said cringe? Anyway, moving on.
Cringe.
Oh, shut up. Okay, that makes you now cringe because you just... Anyway, okay, Charles Leclerc's out there as well, which is good to see. He sees 2 cars into turn 1, not troubling them because he's locked up the front right and gone wide. He is out there on the medium tyres, big old lockup. You missed actually Sebastian Vettel having a huge lockup into the final corner.
I saw it while I was eating my avo on toast. I didn't see it.
Avo on toast.
My avo on toast.
Oh, I love a bit of Avo.
Yeah.
Love Avo. So yeah, 4 cars out on track. Charles Leclerc has joined them, and he looks like it. Oh,
What's
big slide from Charles Leclerc there on the power. My goodness gracious me! Whew. That was a big moment for Charles Leclerc, but managed to catch it quite nicely. Have you seen it yet, Katie?
I don't think so. He hasn't had a huge spin or a slide
not a spin.
yet. Like a slide.
Mate, how far are you behind?
Don't know, like 20 seconds or something.
That should have definitely happened by now. 20 seconds has definitely
Yeah,
passed.
he's just crossing the start-finish line.
Yeah,
And
okay.
he's gone into the pit lane.
Okay, so you just missed it completely then.
Oh. Well, I saw he
You
had
weren't
a little
even.
moment.
No, that's a
wouldn't call it
big
huge
moment. That is a huge. Look at that
It was even
replay.
worse.
He is like 20 degrees off of where he should be. Look, you'll see the slow mo. That is an enormous slide from Charles Leclerc.
That's true. We're seeing the slow-mos now. You can see it. But the way you described it, I was like, "Oh my god, it sounds like he's gone off or something."
No, but that was big drift from Ferrari. Ferrari too powerful, says Ron's side. I agree. Too powerful, too quick. Lando's out there in the McLaren. DRS wide open. Is he going to go for a bit more of a push lap on the C5s, it looks like? No, C4. He's on the C4 tyre, is Lando. Into turn 1 he goes in the slightly renovated, rejuvenated McLaren livery. Still not a massive fan with the blue, to be honest with you, but that's just the way it is. DRS open again down this small straight for Lando. So there is time trying to be found for Lando. Is he going to go fast in the first sector? He's half a second down on Charles Leclerc. So not going to be troubling the top of the timesheets right now. Let's go, Lando. Yeah, to be fair, we need to play the song, don't we, really?
My God. Anytime he sets a quick
Every
lap
time we see him on track, let's go, Lando.
That's going to be my head all day, I'm not going to lie.
Let's go. Is there a full version of it, or is it just...
I don't know, mate. I just saw that on Twitter.
Gonna have to find it. Let's see what Lando's like through the middle sector. C4 tyres on the McLaren. No, he's very, very far off. 2.3 seconds down on Leclerc through the middle sector. So no problems for Charles at the top. We've got a few more side-by-sides, which we can take a look at. Thank you to Benji for sending them over. Let's have a look at the Ferrari versus the Mercedes. And there is an extravagant difference between the two with that angle. Thank you, Benji. And yeah, obviously the side pod's the big talking point. If you're just joining, the Mercedes has a or lack of side pods. Very narrow, very streamlined. Whereas you see the Ferrari, very different.
It is. There's lots of different designs up and down the grid. I mean, even the McLaren's got some pretty big side pods in comparison to Mercedes ones that they've brought up today. So, yeah, very interesting. Oh dear, lock up from Lando on my screen.
Let's go. Oh, it's a shame. It's a shame.
He's still got some of that high vis on the base of his front wing and on the suspension as well. So, obviously, trialing all sorts of things out. Not that that McLaren livery needs to be any brighter with some neon green paint, but there we are. Let's see.
Let's go, Lando.
Let's go, Lando.
Just hear let's now, and I'm like, let's go. Cringe. So cringe. L ratio, didn't ask. 1 hour, 49 minutes to go. Ferrari side pod is like a spoon. Completely agree.
Yeah, I can see that. Somebody mentioned that their side pods remind them of Eau Rouge, which is a funny comparison.
So what? 2021 to 2022. Okay, so they're just comparing the difference of the boxy rear wing in 2021 and the more curved 2022 car. But although not sure why they're showing the 22 show car, because all the actual F1 cars are quite different with their rear wings. That's just a concept. Lando P5 at the moment. 3 seconds off.
Let's go.
Let's go. Around the final corner. He comes in that McLaren. And looks like he's going to dive into the pits. He is indeed. Lando back into the pits. So Ocon and Zhou are the only two out there at the moment. Porpoising, question mark, says let there be light. Not as much as we saw in Spain, if that's what you're asking. Doesn't seem to be as extravagant as that, but it does seem as though it will change from track to track. So the teams are going to have to be very agile with how they change the setups. Ocon is out there on the C2 tyre. He's improving, but improving on a 3.3 second slower lap time. It comes over the line. 2.6 seconds slower now for Esteban Ocon. Still stays in 7th place. Haven't seen much Pierre Gasly out there this morning, which is a shame. In terms of the laps completed, you can see it on screen. Let me make sure that's updated. Got 29 laps for Charles Leclerc, 33 for Hamilton, 30 for Perez, 21 for Vettel, 8 for Norris, 21 for Albon, 11 for Ocon, 30 for Zhou, 22 laps for Gasly, in fact, but just not setting the lap times alight is Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly. Danny Rick vibes. Love it.
Yeah.
Danny Rick's getting better.
It's funny. I'm looking at through the XPB gallery at the moment at the pictures they took this morning, where they've got both the drivers outside the front of their cars, and poor Lando's just on his own. It's like everyone around him is coupled up, and then it's just little Lando on his
on his Todd. Oh,
but I'm
bless
sure
him.
that's going to really annoy the people that are doing all the filming and stuff for it, because those shots of everyone on the grid with their cars are used so much of promotional material that if Ricardo's not there, are they going to edit him in? Are they going to do like the Gene Haas Photoshop that we talked about in Barcelona? Or like what's going to happen? Because he's not there. Maybe they'll try again on Friday, because is it too much effort to like wheel all the cars out and get the pictures?
Yeah, it probably is. I don't know what they'll do for that. Maybe he'll just be slotted in, as you say, as a little Photoshop. Oh my goodness gracious me! Guan Yu Zhou had a big moment in the same area as Charles Leclerc. There manages to catch it nicely though. Guan Yu Zhou, of course, new to Formula One this year.
See, that's a big moment.
Hey,
I would describe that as a big moment, not Charles Leclerc.
If you'd seen the onboard of Charles Leclerc, it's very similar. Look at the amount of angle.
Bigger moment.
Maybe by 5 degrees. I'll give you that. But still,
well, it's actually a bigger moment then.
Okay, here we go. I would argue that that's a very similar slide to what Charles Leclerc had with that offboard that you will see in a second, the slow-mo. I would argue that is very similar, but look, each to their own. We're allowed our own opinions, and that's the beauty of sport and Formula One and life in general. But yeah, Guan Yu Zhou catching that very nicely with the C3 tyre, and he just needs to not bin it, basically, as a rookie. He just needs to get as much mileage under his belt as possible and understand and learn the car into the new season. Esteban Ocon's out there in the Alpine. 2 drivers out on track at the moment. And he is not on a push lap. And he is on the C2 tyres.
Toby Gruner, I think is how you pronounce his surname. He is a great journalist, and he is one of the journalists who was quoted as saying Christian Horner thought the Mercedes was not legal. He has now tweeted and said, yes, we also got the message by Red Bull claiming Christian Horner hasn't talked to anyone. I don't know why they did that. So there's obviously that he's obviously claiming that Christian Horner has spoken to him. Like I said, Amos, which is like the abbreviation for it, they are a very well-respected publication. So I don't see why they would have any benefit to make stuff up. So it's I'm interested to see how this works itself out.
That is very interesting.
Spicy.
That is some spice. Has to be said.
They've probably gone, oh, for God's sake, Christian, we've only just got here and you're already saying the car's illegal. Calm down, hun.
So was it Toby Green?
Toby Gruner, yeah.
Mercedes, not that one. Yes, we got a message by Red Bull claiming Christian Horner told. I don't know why they did that. Oh, controversy. All they need is the audio recording now, and then it blows out of, well out of proportion. That'd be incredible. Okay.
Oh, we've got a stoppage at the end of the pit lane.
We do. Guan Yu Zhou.
Guan Yu Zhou, babe, what are you doing?
He's stopped.
Chilling?
He doesn't fancy it anymore.
It doesn't look like he's got anything on his screen for his steering wheel. Looks like he's had some sort of fault, maybe.
Yeah, that's very, very good point. Nicely spotted there, Katie. It looks as though it is just the electronics have just gone nope. And to be fair, he was coming into the pits, and now all the Alfa Romeo pit crew have to run all the way down the pit lane to go and salvage the car. Yeah. So maybe they saw a problem, told him to come in, and then it just switched off. It
always makes me sad when I have to see the mechanics running down the pit lane.
Yeah, especially
it's
in
like
Bahrain
a scene from a Hollywood movie or something.
Yeah, especially in the Bahrain temperatures, that is not fun.
No.
Yeah, so you would have seen in the band sponsors thing video that we did yesterday, we mentioned about a sponsor on the Alfa Romeo car called Floki Inu, which is a dog-themed cryptocurrency coin.
Incredible,
I imagine
right?
Probably quite similar to the likes of Dogecoin and things like that. And it's crazy to think that an F1 team is sponsored by a dog-themed cryptocurrency coin. But hey, this is 2022 apparently, and the world of crypto. So
Yeah, it's taken over. Obviously, Red Bull have got a huge cryptocurrency sponsor,
yeah, and Bybit.
which is meant to be one of the most expensive crypto deals in sport and one of the biggest deals in F1 history. So, yeah,
You got that.
cryptocurrency
You
is the
got
way to go.
F1 themselves, sponsored by Crypto.com. Their deal worth rumoured $100 million over the next 5 years to have the likes of the Overtake Award and things like that. You've got
That famous Overtake Award.
that famous one that no one actually cares about. But yeah, it is very, very interesting. Timer, sorry everybody. It's because I keep looking at other things, and then if I do that, the timer goes away. My sincere apologies. My sincere apologies to everybody involved. Oh no, let me. There we go. All right, now we're settled in. Red Bull washed. Good comment. The least biased Max fan. The least biased Max fan is his username, and just Red Bull washed. I love that. One car out on track at the moment. Esteban Ocon. 3.3 seconds off the pace is Esteban, but it don't matter. We're about 6 seconds off what we saw. Just under 6 seconds. 5.5 seconds off what we saw as the fastest time in Bahrain qualifying last year. So, for those wondering,
I want to see this DRS open. I want to see it in action because they had so much drama with the DRS. This is Alpine I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That they pretty much didn't use it at all during the whole of Barcelona shakedown. Come on, get the DRS open.
To be fair, they had been using it earlier, so at least it had been functioning. But they don't always open it up. They'll be doing like race runs or whatever just to test out the airflow in a normal race situation. There's Lewis Hamilton in the pits doing his usual ting. Tommy actually tweeted, and I completely agree, that the number is brilliantly popping on that Mercedes.
Popping.
Love the way they've outlined the 44 in yellow. Oh, has he? Oh, that's great. So that's awesome. So yeah, that's good to see from Mercedes. Pops quite nicely as well, I think, for Albon, with that 23 on the back of his car. Ross Brawn's being interviewed, actually. Going to listen to that.
Let's have a listen.
Ross Brawn saying it's getting serious now. What's impressive is the changes between Barcelona and here. In the new regulations, you've got the scope. After the first test, he's sure everyone went away and started to think about what they had and what they might have to do. Pretty volatile period and lots of innovation. Lots of complaints about cars looking the same. But that's not the case. I mean, we made a video thinking that was going to be the case with the regulations being a lot more stripped down, but the teams have got around it. Why are we talking about Haas, please? Albon goes second, 2 seconds off. So for those just joining, we're just listening to Ross Brawn's interview. Okay, they're just talking about Haas. I don't know why, we've got an interview with Ross Brawn and we're talking about Haas. Talk about what does Ross Brawn think? Who's good? Who's not?
Yeah, he's not allowed to say that though, is he? Because he's meant to be unbiased.
Not who's good, who's not, but I mean, I'm sure there's levels to it, and Ross Brawn doesn't really care,
He's a very clever man as well.
Yeah.
He'll know.
Talk about the porpoising or things like that are the interesting points.
Yes, but it's good that they're changing up the coverage, speaking to a few different people. Because as much as watching cars testing for 8 hours a day is lovely, and I'm happy to have F1 cars back on track, there's also so much to delve into off the track, because there's just so much news going on. Like, I thought pre-season would be a chance for a bit of a reset, bit more quiet and calm. Just no.
No.
Don't even think about it. It's been absolutely manic. I mean, since Shakedown, we've lost a driver. Like,
Yeah.
Nikita Mazepin is out. He's no longer going to be competing in Formula One, and we've got Kevin Magnussen back, which to me it still feels like I'm in some sort of FIFA dream. Kevin Magnussen in a Haas. I'm like, what year is this?
I know.
It's crazy.
But for me, like, genuinely, Haas are in a better position if they can actually survive without this Uralkali sponsorship and, you know, continue moving forward as a team through whatever other financial means that they've done. Then it's in a much better position, because Mazepin, let's be real, was dreadful last year. Like, he wasn't quick in the slightest.
Don't beat around the bush.
No, I mean, he wasn't. Like, you can't say that he was decent last year. Got absolutely smashed by Mick Schumacher, who's also a rookie. But having someone like Kevin Magnussen in, who has that experience, knows the team very well, I think that is going to be so important for Haas, and maybe, just maybe, it turns a corner for them, because I felt like they were very hamstrung with the fact that they had this Uralkali sponsorship, and you'll see in Drive to Survive the pressures that they had to go through with the likes of Nikita Mazepin's dad putting, you know, lots of threats out there and whatnot because of his son's performances, because he couldn't believe that it was actually down to Mazepin not being quick, and there was some more internal problems going on. But I think having Magnussen in is going to be huge wonders, and maybe that will just allow the team to have a bit more freedom moving forward, and to eventually develop the car in a way that they need. We'll see, but I think it's only a positive.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just reading up about Haas, that apparently the race, or Scott Mitchell from the race, is saying that Haas will be allowed to have a half day of testing on Sunday, just for themselves, because, well, it was a bit out of their control that their cargo got held up, and they arrived to Bahrain late. So that's kind of the FIA to give them a bit of extra time.
That's a bit unheard of, isn't it? Like, Williams didn't turn up the other year, and maybe that was more down to their own mistakes,
that was more a Williams problem. Yeah, this one is literally out of their control. They just had transport issues, so that's good for Haas. Get that extra running in. So they're not already, like, I mean, they're already on the back bench, but it's good to see that F1 is willing to be a little bit lenient with it also. That's good.
So I've just put up a Charles Leclerc picture of him doing keepy uppies. Why not?
Of course you have.
You know, good content. Katie, I'm going to finish my breakfast biscuits because my stomach is screaming at me. So carry on for the next couple of minutes and I shall return.
No drama.
Sweet.
That's only fair. Right, so let's go through a quick rundown of everything that's going on so far. So Guan Yu Zhou stopped earlier in the pit lane about 10 minutes ago, and that's now been retrieved, and he's hopped out the car, and that's been taken back to the pit lane. But for day one times, we've got Charles Leclerc, who's currently fastest. He set a 1 minute 34.531, which was on the C3 tyre. And then behind Leclerc is Lewis Hamilton in his Mercedes, who was also on the C3 tyre. He did a 1 minute 36.3, so just over a second and a half slower than Leclerc. But obviously these times in testing are not completely representative. We then got Albon in P3, Perez P4, Vettel P5, Zhou P6, Ocon P7, Norris P8, and Gasly P9. So they're the guys that are setting times this morning. Daniel Ricciardo was meant to be in the McLaren today, but he's not feeling very well. So Lando Norris has had to step up, and he's doing a full day's running. And he's currently doing his out lap at the moment. He's gone out onto track again, and he's joined by Pierre Gasly. So at the moment, it's just Norris and Gasly out on the track. But let's have a look. If anyone's got any questions that you want answered, feel free to pop them in the chat and we can run through them. If you have F1 TV or if you have Sky, then you can actually watch what we're talking about live. This is actually broadcast compared to Barcelona. And the shakedown there, which was all meant to be behind closed doors and all very top secret and all that kind of stuff. So a slightly different vibe to the testing coverage this 3 days. Let's see what they're saying. So yeah, Michael saying, where can we watch the practice? I've just said F1 TV or Sky, or I don't know if there are any other alternatives available. So somebody's saying, can you show us Sebastian Vettel's helmet design? When Matt is back,
Hello.
I will. Oh, it's quick. Could you please pull up a picture of Sebastian Vettel's special helmet
Well,
design?
if Benji sends me it, I'll be able to pop it up. So Benji,
Perfect.
get on it and we can
Pretty
showcase
please.
that. Thank you.
Yeah, so
Thank you, Benji.
Sebastian Vettel is running a special Ukrainian-inspired helmet design during these testing days. So instead of the traditional German flag that he has on his white background, he has got the Ukraine national colours of blue and yellow, as well as the dove on the side. And yeah, all the drivers yesterday, apart from the Haas guys and Hamilton, who had a flight that was delayed, they all went and took a picture in no war t-shirts, and had a big banner as well, and basically saying that the GPDA, which is a Grand Prix Drivers Association, all sort of have rallied together and showed their support for the terrible ongoing conflict that's happening between Russia and the Ukraine at the moment. And yeah, that got shared very widely on all the drivers' social media. So you might have seen pictures of that on Instagram or Twitter yesterday. So that is a nice show of support from all the drivers, because obviously as well, before the races now, we're not going to be having the well, it was originally a pre-racism, what's the thing, like anti-racism moment before the race where drivers could take the knee and but that's not going to be happening anymore this year. F1 have scrapped it. So
because they said it was time for action as opposed to doing doing the display.
So, but I think quite a lot of drivers are not very happy with that. So it'll be interesting to see what they do instead of.
That's interesting. So Ross Brawn's still being interviewed, talking about teams wanting a stiffer floor and the porpoising issues and whatnot, chatting about that. So Ross having a big old interview at the moment on Sky F1. If you want to watch the testing, you can go on Sky F1, but we are also giving you the updates right here for this morning, just so you're aware. We won't be doing it this afternoon, nor for the next couple of days, just purely because we have lots of other things to do, lots of other videos and content to churn out for you guys. We will be keeping you up to date as much as possible, but with it being actually televised, we have to juggle exactly what is the what's possible and what isn't. And unfortunately, Tommy decided to go on holiday, so we can't actually. We're a bit more thinly spread over the next few days. So we will figure it out, but just so you're aware, in case we get any messages, where's the afternoon stream? It's not coming. I'm sorry, but we will keep you, as I say, very up to date.
Yeah, be sure to follow us across all our social platforms to keep up to date with the latest images and updates, with timings, etc., when we're not doing these on YouTube.
Yeah. I did enjoy last time, but the beauty of last time is that nobody could see anything. So we were all coming together and trying to figure it out. Whereas this week, it is televised on Sky Sports F1 and over on F1 TV as well. Perez is out there at the moment with Charles Leclerc as well and Lando Norris. So 3 cars out on track. 1 hour, 27 minutes to go of this morning's session. Where can I watch testing? I've just said, Sean, so hopefully you've heard that now. And yeah, you'll be able to watch it over on there if you have access. You have an F1 TV subscription but can't see a live stream. I'm not sure, James. I hope we don't run F1 TV. So whether it's because of your location, I know that F1 TV does restrict certain access for certain people. So maybe that's something. But yeah. Okay, Ross Brawn said his thing. Nothing wrong with the Merc, says Dusan. I haven't really been listening to that interview, to be honest. So if that's the case, then Ross Brawn does not think anything is wrong with it, according to Dusan. So we will get confirmation on that, I'm sure, very soon. Any new time updates? Let me check to see if that is actually updated or not. There you go. The most laps at the moment is Lewis Hamilton with 34 laps. Then you've got 3 drivers on 33, Leclerc, Perez and Zhou. Then we've got Alex Albon on 29, Gasly on 28, and you've got Vettel on 21, Ocon 18, Norris 15, and Haas, of course, on 0, because they're not running this morning due to their logistical issues, not being able to get the car there in time. Apparently, Vettel has had a serious brake-by-wire issue. Because of that, both front wheels locking up at the final corner was a bit weird. That's what Mark Hughes has said over on the Race Live Hub. I will stick that actually in the description of the video if you want to go check that out, especially when we aren't streaming this afternoon and the next couple of days. You'll be able to find that link in the description right now. Beautiful stuff. So Katie is clearly ferociously working on something else. So that's...
I'm just uploading a picture on Twitter. Of
That's fine.
Lando
That's fine. We can see Katie spinning her plates as we're going.
My brain, slowly see smoke start to appear out of my ears.
Yeah, thankfully your hair's covering it. Otherwise, we'd probably see that smoke already through it coming out your ears.
Yeah, it's too much to do for one person.
You're seeing a live stream of Katie trying to do all that. Wrong screen. I'm sorry, Nico. It's all sorted now. But yeah, so there we go. Is that Ted? No, it's Martin. Martin's at turn 1. What's Martin saying live at turn 1? Heavy tailwind into turn 1. Taking it really, really steady up the hill. It's almost as if they're aero mapping, he said. Perez, Norris and Gasly are out there at the moment. It's only 3 cars circulating. Oh, we're seeing a replay of Perez. Is he locked up into that downhill left-hander as well? I imagine so. Yes, he's gone a little bit wide and gone off the track. Just joined. Has Mercedes shown a new car? Yes, Jose. I'll put it up on the screen for you right now if you want to see the difference between the two from Barcelona to Bahrain. Big talk about the side pods. So that's up on screen now if you want to take a look for yourself.
Another update from Red Bull on this Mercedes comment, this elusive Mercedes comment. They've said, so we are clear, we have made no official comment regarding Mercedes car and will not be doing so. So that's very different to Red Bull making an official comment to maybe something Horner's said on his way into the track.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've shifted their position a bit on that. But yes, very, very interesting.
So he said something to media and the guy's gone, well, I'll be posting that then. And then Red Bull have gone, oh God, what's Christian said on the way to the paddock? So it's good stuff.
He's going to have his own blooming PR at this point. He'll be babysat. But yeah, it's interesting. Change of opinion from Red Bull.
Two drivers out on track now, Perez and Gasly. Martin Brundle chatting at turn 1. They do look like they're hoovering up the track. That's what he's just said. Jose Nato. Thanks, Matt. First comment and instant reply. Thank you. You're welcome. What great customer service from WTF1. Lovely.
10 out of 10.
Gasly's out there, still not really pushing at all. AlphaTauri not bothering in the slightest with fast lap times. So it is Perez and Gasly. Gasly's come out and said recently, isn't he, that he's got to honour his contract, basically, and then he expects a Red Bull call-up. Otherwise, I'm paraphrasing, but it seems as that way as he wants a Red Bull call-up, or he'll look elsewhere. Would you say is that a fair paraphrase? Have you seen that? Or
I haven't, no. But I mean, he said before that he's had several offers and things from teams, but he decided to stick with AlphaTauri, and he still very much hopes that he'll get that Red Bull promotion. I personally, although I think it is deserved, I can't see it happening. I think where he is at the moment in AlphaTauri, he seems very comfortable and very embedded in the team, and he makes a great number one driver there. And yeah, generally he seems in a much better place mentally. Obviously, I can't sit here, and I'm not a therapist. I can't tell you, if he's 100% seems that way. But in terms of when he speaks to the media and such, he seems to be in a much more comfortable place, both mentally and physically. But I'm sure he wants to go back into that Red Bull because he's got a point to prove. Obviously, all of these drivers think they are the best driver on the grid. And that's naturally going to sting a bit, knowing that you've been dropped by Red Bull, and having that redemption and showing them actually I can do it. But whether Red Bull will actually ever make that happen, I don't know. I think it's going to be very much like carrot on a stick vibes of being like, yes, Gasly, if you keep performing well, we'll promote you. We will promote you. And I don't think it will ever happen. And I think he's just got to jump ship.
They can't.
But which ship does he jump to? Because there's not many seats.
They can't guarantee something like that either, especially when, unfortunately for Gasly, he had an opportunity and he squandered it. Like, I know there is sympathy for him because of, the pressures of Red Bull, and we've seen it before with Albon as well. But Formula One isn't a sport where you go, oh, diddums, okay, we'll give you another season. These are teams trying to perform to the top level. I know that Gasly has improved a lot since then, but Gasly also had impressive drives before. That's why he got the call up to Red Bull. So there will be those question marks of, does he have the ability to perform in a car that maybe doesn't suit his driving style? Whereas AlphaTauri, he can very much shape that.
But he's won a race in, so it's not, like he's driving an absolute tractor or anything. Like, it's a proven race-winning car. But I understand that there's going to be more opportunity in a Red Bull.
I wouldn't quite say
it's won a race in it.
Yeah, so. I know. In terms of pace, no. In terms of crazy race, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still the Alpine is a race-winning car.
Mclaren Mick Schumacher. That just Mick Schumacher. No, it's just Mick Schumacher and his engineer. I thought it was just two people with vests on. You'll see it in a second. Come on the screen. I thought that was Charles Leclerc for a second, but no, it's Mick Schumacher.
It does look a bit like him. He's like a mix between Jake Dennis and Charles Leclerc.
But yeah,
they've gone for a little wander, top up the suntan, and have a sneak and see what the other guys are doing on track. We've seen that a couple of times of last testing where like George Russell was trackside seeing how everybody's getting on, and yeah, I mean, if I was not driving the car today, if I was Mick, I'd be like taking a picnic and going down and watching all day.
Go catch some rays, watch some F1 cars. It's a good day.
Enjoy the vibes, And with Bahrain, they've said that if you have a ticket to watch the first Grand Prix in next week, then you could go and watch testing for free, which I think is excellent. So I'd be there straight away, bunking off work.
I wonder how many people actually are there, though, because Bahrain does struggle for attendance from what I understand. That's probably why they're offering that, to be honest with you.
But I mean, it's still a nice thing to do.
It's a nice thing to do. They didn't have to do it. But I think it's more a case of them just trying to get people in the door to then go, oh, F1 is quite nice. Maybe I'll spend money next year. Because they have to put those seats to use at some point. We're watching Hamilton go around the final corner. Can't really see any shots of grandstands. I don't imagine there's that many people there. I hope we do get a shot of the grandstands. Maybe that's the reason we haven't, is because there isn't anyone there.
No one there.
Oh, that's
one
a lot
person
of bouncing.
Like, woo, got a fry flag or something.
That is a lot of porpoising for the Mercedes there. It has to be said, down the straight. More so than I think we've seen earlier.
My gosh, yeah.
That looked like some severe bouncing.
It seems to be. That is
Yeah, that is interesting. Not so bad down that smaller straight. Hamilton using DRS. Is he pushing hard? It looks like he's No, he's 9/10 off. So I thought for a second maybe we might be seeing a bit more. I said not even representative, but just a bit faster. But no, Hamilton bouncing all over the place and nearly a second down through the first sector. We have Perez, Hamilton, Vettel, and Ocon out on. Oh, big lock up again for Hamilton in that downhill left-hander, and again he runs wide. He's really struggling in that corner. He's not been able to nail it many times at all. Still DRS wide open. Testing out potentially what a hot lap would be like, but of course probably nowhere near the engine power or anything like that you'd expect.
You can see the imperfection on his front left as well, where he's locked up on that tyre.
How are they watching testing? In tune, it's either F1 TV or Sky F1.
Oh, magic.
Should probably put that on the
just
overlay.
using our
shouldn't we, really?
imagination.
Yeah. We're like, I think Hamilton is. Yeah, no, we're there.
Yeah, I'm getting a sixth sense.
I'm getting vibes.
Hamilton.
So Hamilton's coming into the pits now. I feel. I'm sensing Hamilton's coming into the pits, and he is.
Oh, what good prediction.
Hey guys, thoughts on the new Haas livery? It's nicer, Brendan.
I like
It's nicer than it was before. We had an image of it in the garage earlier on, which I can share if you would so like. Let me find it. There. Well, there's one there. There's a better one. Where's it gone? I had it a second ago. There it is. So that's the new Haas livery. Do we like it more, chat? Are we more of a fan, would you say? I think it looks a bit nicer, a bit more slick. Colours match a bit nicer. Let us know what you think about the Haas and give it a rating out of 10.
I'm just glad there's no rich energy on it. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh my days, imagine.
Crikey.
Imagine. Right, let's go back to Ferrari. There's a lovely Ferrari image of it being wheeled back in the garage. There is the replay of Lewis Hamilton's lockup, whilst we also have Rachel Brooks chatting to Ted Kravitz. What's Ted got to say? Let's have a listen.
Is he comparing something to cheese?
Not only is the Zero Pods raised eyebrows,
That was
but,
a hefty lockup.
but all the other teams who said, hang on, I thought that bit of the side pod was regulated. I thought there was an entry around, well, he's done a shape, was meant to be there at the front, and then you could do what you want further back. Where's this coming from? Is what teams are basically asking. Ted's apparently chatting to some guy at Mercedes during the lunch break.
Interesting.
Okay, so not much else.
Good to
Interesting.
see
So teams
Aston
are questioning
Martin
it.
Aston Martin have fixed that issue with
Yeah, with Vettel.
Sebastian
Yeah,
Carr, because he's back out on track, which is what we like to see.
he is indeed. There was a suspected brake-by-wire issue, but as you say, back out on track. No lockups at the moment. Why does Williams have such a different steering wheel concept from the rest of the grid? It's a good question, Mr. Jeff 2307. There's no real reason, to be honest with you. I think it's just a design that they go with, and of course you can customize the steering wheel as much as you want in terms of the buttons and how it looks. So maybe it's to fit. What was that?
I was going to say on the TV stream, Mike Crack has made an appearance. Woohoo!
Excuse me.
Aston Martin's new signing, Mike
God's
Crack,
sake.
on the pit wall.
God's sake. Your crack is
Sorry,
okay.
I knew that was...
Yeah, so anyway, the steering wheel might well be, because even the steering wheel can sometimes impact the way in which the car flows. So, yeah, it's just part of their design. Let's see what Christian Horner has to say. A fairly different concept, and that's for the aero guys and designers to get into. What's the next step? Ted's just asked. As far as he was aware, the rules... Okay, so basically Ted's explaining to Christian about why the Mercedes may be illegal. Beyond. So Christian Horner's basically just said it's out of both Ted's and his technical competence. Oh, Ted, leave him alone.
Right. Well, Ted knows he's been obviously potentially saying stuff to the media, and now he's been given a smack on the wrist probably, and he's trying to get it out of him. It's quite funny. Fair play, Ted. I respect that
he gave it a go.
massively.
He gave it a go.
Yeah.
We can hear your audio, by the way, Katie.
I know. I've just muted it.
Okay, cool.
I just want to make sure I could hear what Christian Horner was saying.
Yeah. Not a huge amount, basically. Just said that the guy's going to digest it and that they need to essentially just give it a go and work out whether it's actually legal or not, which is, I'm sure they'll find it's illegal very quickly and start complaining. But I guess they will also wait and see whether or not Mercedes actually, well, or whether they think they're actually gaining anything from that particular design, because, you know, Red Bull doing a last-minute complaint is better than complaining now and allowing Mercedes enough time to rejig and go with something else. So 1 hour, 10 minutes to go in this first morning session. It's Leclerc fastest from Perez, Hamilton, Albon, Vettel, Ocon, Zhou, Norris and Gasly. No running from Haas today, or at least this morning, because of their delayed shipment, but they're allowed to run on Sunday morning instead. To make up for lost time, which is a very nice gesture from the FIA.
It is, yeah, and we'll get Fittipaldi in the car this afternoon. So no running for Schumacher or Magnussen today. But yeah, excited to see Fittipaldi back in the Haas, because I am somebody who loves a bit of variety and I like seeing new faces in the sport. As happy as I am to have Kevin back, don't get me wrong. I think it's also nice to let someone else have a go. And that's what Fittipaldi's there for, right? He's a reserve driver for scenarios just like that. If he's not covering for Roman Grosjean after his accident in Bahrain a few years ago, then he's on call when they decide to terminate the contract of one of their drivers. So
yeah, absolutely. So we're seeing a lot of on board at the moment. Perez had a little bit of a mistake. Vettel as well. It just seems as though the drivers are really struggling with these new cars, at least in this morning session around Bahrain. They're just driving very tentatively. I think that's how Martin kind of described it as well, watching it turn one earlier. It's just they're just not particularly confident to push these cars to the very limit. And those lap times would also suggest that. Oh, my days. Very squirrely under braking for Lando Norris. Goodness me, I've never seen that before. It literally was jolting from left to right under braking. You'll see that in a second, Katie. That is...
Oh, yeah. He's moving up
weird.
And down, side to side.
That is
Like
not the ideal braking performance from the car there. I wonder why it did that. Very unstable. I'm sure Lando will be on the radio about that.
Yeah, it's a strange one, because obviously this could have been an issue that we had in Barcelona, but because we didn't actually have any proper TV coverage of it, it's maybe just being highlighted as being particularly bad now. But maybe it's the wind in Barcelona, in Bahrain. I don't know if it's particularly windy today, which is affecting how some of these cars are performing. Or maybe
to be fair, Martin did mention about a heavy tailwind into turn one, so maybe there are some wind. There is some wind affecting the cars, but nothing that you'd expect would cause something as bad as that. I mean, we've seen very windy Grand Prix in the past, Baku being one. I remember being there and almost being blown over by how windy it was, with how it would almost have that tunnel effect in the streets of Baku. I imagine these winds would unsettle the car slightly, but maybe with the use of ground effect as well, and the different way the car produces downforce, perhaps wind affects it more. That is a question rather than a statement, because I didn't have the technical capacity to tell you the exact answer of that. But that is part of what we do. We're fans and we like to ask the questions and sometimes answer them.
Hell yeah. We're seeing onboards with the McLaren at the moment, which has got a slightly tweaked livery. And one thing that has made me happy with this livery changing is I want to see the numbers on the back of the car clearer. And beforehand, they had, I think it was a blue number on an orange background, and it was so impossible to read. But now it's on a black background with a bright orange number 4. So I'm happy.
You're happy
with that side of things. I'm
Yeah.
happy with that. But some of the cars just make it so difficult to read what the race number is. And yeah, for somebody, when you sat in the grandstand, obviously you can tell by the driver's helmets, or you can hear, like, if it was Lando or George or Lewis coming around at Silverstone, you could tell it was them before they actually got to you, because you could hear like the Mexican wave of cheering from like the other side of the grandstand. But yeah, I think I'm down for anything that makes it a bit easier for maybe newer fans, or even just general fans to see who is who on track. I mean, on board with the Ferrari now, why would they not make the racing number white? Why would you put it black on an already dark red background? I don't get it. Make it white, make it pop.
Make it pop.
Make it pop, girl, you know? But,
okay, it's simple advice, which I'm sure all the livery designers
all my
are
technical
design.
All my time designing liveries. I would
just
say,
make it pop.
Yeah.
So we did a poll about an hour ago. 15,863, 92 now of you voted on whether you're on the Ferrari hype train. 56% say yes. I'll take that as a victory. Next one. What's the next poll going to be? I will have a think of that. We will do another one. We'll do another poll shortly. Leclerc is out there with Albon and Vettel at the moment. So 3 cars out on track. Leclerc looks like he's reasonably pushing, at least the camera angle there suggested so, into that tricky downhill braking zone. DRS wide open as well. Hasn't improved in the first sector, Charles Leclerc. See what the middle sector is. I didn't actually see how far down he was in that first sector and whether this is a full push lap. It looks relatively aggressive, I'll be honest. Let's see what that middle sector is saying. He is half a second down. So still one of the quicker lap times we've seen in these first 3 hours of running. And it is nice to see it as well. Lovely to see testing. Beautiful. Now into the final corner we come. And Charles Leclerc, a bit slippery on the exit. It's going to come over the line. DRS open. It's a 35.2-ish. Yeah, 35.205 for Charles Leclerc. And bouncing around into turn 1 again. So porpoising still an issue for some of these teams. Next poll, how many complaints is Horner going to have after this first hour of testing? Says Radzig. So it can be quite misleading if you are watching along with us in terms of the timings and the fact there is no time for 11 drivers, but a lot of them aren't supposed to be driving at the moment. I think the only team that we saw actually swapping between or within a session was Williams last time out in Barcelona, where they wanted to have both drivers get a bit of experience in the wet. But that was the only team that swapped during a session. Otherwise, we tend to see 10 drivers in any given morning or afternoon session, and sometimes that driver will do both. So Martin Brundle's at turn 4. Nice on board of Albon here, just to see how much he's wrestling the car. Oh, he had to steer out of that right-hander, now up the hill. Is he going to spot his braking point? Oh, he's taking a very wide line. Very wide line indeed. And then on the power, DRS open. Has improved in the first sector, has Albon. 2 seconds down on Leclerc at the moment in terms of his last time. Oh, he's going to go a bit wide. Yeah, it's just not. The front just doesn't go in sort of slow to mid-speed corners. It just does not turn. I would be very surprised if these cars are as quick as what we saw last year. Be very surprised indeed. But we don't know the run plans. I'm being very, very aggressive with my prediction there, but yeah, it's good stuff. Matt, look at Tom Bellingham's thread. What was it? Mercedes and Red Bull banter or something. I'll have a look. Tommy, what's Tommy?
Tom Bellingham, who's that? I've
never heard of him. Yeah, WTF1 founder or something. No one cares. No one cares. I can't see the banter unless you mean WTF1 account. He's not working, so I can't imagine he's posting anything.
I'd kick him off if he was on the WTF1 account.
Oh, you can talk about working on holiday.
That's also true.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Thomas replied to something, or so Tommy said, big fan of what Mercedes have done with their car numbers to make them pop. If Russ was a different colour on this, then it's a big W. Mercedes replies, just you wait, sunshine. And then Red Bull Racing replied saying, that's our line, thank you very much. And then Mercedes said, is that an official comment?
Sassy.
Oh, that is incredible.
The siren's going off. Very good. Russell does have a different colour on his. Russell has the blue. I don't get where this has come from because these designs for the racing numbers existed in Barcelona. They've been on the car since then, but maybe they've done it so they stand out a bit more. They certainly trialed something similar in Barcelona. I know they did.
Sorry, I'm just reading the thread, and someone replied to Mercedes going, well, that's the social media championship wrapped up. Congrats, admin. Yeah, they don't get any points, unfortunately, for pre-season testing. Yeah, that's good stuff. Good banter. Right, day one morning session. We are about to enter the final hour. We've got 2 seconds until we do that. There we go. We are under 1 hour to go in this morning session, and the only live stream, unfortunately, for you guys. I'm so sorry. But we've got plenty of other things to do. Tom is on holiday, even though on social media it's not seeming that way. It seems like he's still talking about F1, but he's allowed to tweet on his own personal. Bless him. I hope he's having a great time. Love you long time, Tommy. Hamilton comes into the pits, so that means Leclerc and Albon are the only two drivers out there on track.
They are indeed. And then we'll be seeing Haas this afternoon in their brand new sparkly livery. It's not literally sparkly, it's just a brand new livery. Obviously without the Uralkali sponsorship on there because they terminated the contract with Uralkali and Mazepin. So we've got a new look on the Haas. They did a bit of a cheeky tweet earlier saying our actual livery is here. I was like, oh, little bit
the
there.
actual one.
The actual one. So that looks nice. And yeah, well done, Mercedes, for also making their driver numbers on the side of the car stand out, because they too have amended what they had previously, and it makes me happy.
I've just seen Tommy done a quote tweet to the "Is that an official comment?" with his face from the watch along and then a popcorn picture. Have a look at Tommy's social feed. That's incredible. That's brilliant. Thank you, Benji. You've sent me some more pictures, which I will pop up on screen. Have you seen the picture yet?
I have, yeah. It's very good.
Wait, I think Benji sent me a meme.
Oh no, Benji sent a meme.
Yeah, Return of the Mag. What do we think, chat? What are we rating that?
The mag.
Return of the Mag.
Once again.
Return of the Mag.
Oh my god. Good, you know that I'll be back. Let's say this.
Still not as good as a song as the Lando pit stop boys thing.
Oh, we've got an ad popping up. Go away.
You're not watching our stream? What?
I had to keep turning it off. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. It is boring.
Oh, that is very good, Benji. Thank you for spending the time to do that. That's lovely.
Oh dear. So there's Return of the Mag. Love that. Well done, Benji. Then we've got a picture of the Williams. Let's soak up the Williams with the sun glistening off the livery. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff.
Well, that's an interesting feature on Sebastian Vettel's racing helmet. I don't know if we ever got pictures that we put up on the stream, but he's put the lyrics to John Lennon's Imagine on the top of his helmet, which is...
So who has?
Vettel.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Vettel's helmet, let me put it up right now. There you go. There's Vettel's helmet. Lovely gesture. Vettel is just a man that everybody should look up to and try to be honest. He is a very stand-up F1 driver in the community, and definitely the one that makes the most moves, up with Lewis Hamilton as well, it has to be said. Those two really paving the way, which is great to see.
It is fantastic. Leclerc's on an outlap, Matt, you'll be glad to know.
Yeah, I'm fanboy levels are rising. Barometer's
So-
getting low. I don't know what. That's a Boomer Spice Girls reference. But then again, there is links now because Jerry Halliwell, who, by the way, if you enjoy Christian Horner, they're basically in the whole of Drive to Survive. So look forward to that. It's just Christian Horner's back garden, basically. So enjoy that. Oh my God, Drive to Survive spoilers. Round the final corner goes Charles Leclerc. Outlap. So he's now maybe on a push lap. Let's see. Let's ride on board with him. Don't change the camera angle.
They're going to
Don't do it.
Now you've said that.
Let's see how much he bounces. Oh, to be fair, I don't mind that camera angle. Sees a bit of bouncing. Is he on a push lap? Not sure. Doesn't look very pushy, but he's probably about to set the fastest lap time. Let's see. Does his DRS open? No, it doesn't. So we don't care. His DRS isn't open, which means he's not going to set the world alight, which means I don't want to know.
No, he's already got the fastest lap time of the day with 55 minutes left on the clock. Matt's happy.
Exactly. Yeah, it's lovely stuff.
Gosh, I can't get over how few people are out on the track. I would want to be spending every waking moment trying to get as much data as possible.
And Katie Fairman crosses the line for her 270th lap of the morning.
Yeah, literally. I'd be like, get me out there. I want to be driving F1 cars.
She's gone through her 5th ICU unit in one session because she doesn't want to stop.
No, use them all up.
Use it all up. Is this test
Everything.
live on
New
Sky
gearbox.
Sports? Yes, it is, Smith. New gearbox, new everything, new engine. Mercedes cheat again. All right, Joel, calm yourself down. We don't know that yet. We don't know that. We don't know. Let's relax for a second, for a moment. The amount of jumping up and down that Ferrari does, says Jan Cat. Yeah, it's quite a lot of jumping up and down, but nowhere near as much as what we saw in Barcelona.
No, that's true. And don't forget, with Barcelona, we only saw really like one clip, which F1 shared on their social media. Like that's one tiny little window into the whole of Barcelona. Whereas with this, obviously, we've got the privilege of having it being live streamed. If you're fortunate enough to watch it, which we didn't get in Barcelona because it was all meant to be hush hush and top secret. And then it's like, well, there are people on the track, like by the side of the track, and there are photographers and everything like that. So it's not exactly going to be top secret. And of course, we did our coverage as well. So sorry, F1, we were spoiling everything that you had tried to make secret.
Yeah, we were.
It literally made no point.
Yeah, our goal was to spoil everything. So
yeah,
there you go.
And we did so.
We did. Question from MA: are you team doors or team wheels?
Oh my God, I've been thinking about this nonstop since I saw it on TikTok. I'm team wheels, I think.
I'm team doors.
Are you?
Yeah.
I think it's wheels.
Go on, why?
Well, somebody made a really good comment as well and saying, like, think of all the Lego wheels that get made and all the wheels that you have on chairs, all the wheels, obviously, for cars and bikes, tanks don't have wheels, but like trucks, wheels on your spinny wheelie chairs. There's just so many wheels.
There's just so many.
There's just so many.
I love how
I think it must be wheels.
but there's a lot of doors in the world as well. Like there's doors on cars, there's doors in houses, there's doors in flats, there's doors in offices, but there's also wheels in offices and office chairs.
Yeah, but how are you going to get to work? You're going to go on a bus that's got wheels. You're going to sit on a chair that's probably got wheels.
But then every car there's a bus that has a door or two doors sometimes. Let's see.
4 wheels to 2 doors.
67% are team wheels at the moment.
Have you done a poll?
Yeah, I've done a poll. I was like, are there more doors or wheels in the world? You can tell it's really gone downhill. Back to the actual test itself. There's 5 cars out on track. Leclerc, Perez, Hamilton, Albon and Ocon. Doors in toilets, says Darius. Define a door. Coffin doors? I mean, that's morbid.
Bit
but
morbid,
also,
yeah.
if we're counting it
You
as a
could
door...
get a coffin on wheels.
No doors on F1 cars, so the balance is shifted. I mean, I don't think there's 20 F1 cars, so we're only at 80 extra wheels here.
Every wheel counts.
Buses have 4 doors. Yeah, they do have one. Yeah, fair enough. Can we watch live on F1 TV Pro? I think so, Jake. Depends where you're from. Don't forget about Lego. I know Lego is a big...
Lego is the big one. I haven't got very far with my Lego so far, I'll be honest with you.
But how many houses are in the world?
But most people have a car, so that will be wheels.
Yeah, but there's doors on
And
cars
there's
as well.
Like, think how many bikes you get in like certain areas of like Beijing, and
Cupboard
everybody
doors?
rides a bike. Yeah, cupboard doors.
Yeah,
But there are also wheels.
you don't have wheels on cupboards.
No, but you have wheels other places, like on your suitcases. That's got wheels.
Yeah, but it's a lot
That
of
doesn't have a
doors.
door. Yeah, but it's wheels.
Hotels
It's
have
like-
hundreds of rooms with loads of doors.
Yeah, and they've all probably got nice spinning chairs in them, which have got
No,
5
they
wheels on
don't.
them.
They
They
don't have
do.
spinny chairs with wheels on them. No, they don't.
If it's got a little office space, it might have a chair with wheels on
Maybe,
it. And
maybe.
also, the beds in hotels are going to be on wheels because they can separate them and make them doubles and singles. So there'll be more wheels on the floor of the beds than doors.
There are
There we go.
billions of bicycles and motorcycles. They're not. I don't think there's billions.
Well, most people in the world will have some sort of mode of transport, whether that's a bike, whether that's buses, whether that's a car or
Yeah,
a
but
truck.
bicycles or bikes? I'd say if
Well,
we
both
put
have got
cars in
wheels.
as well.
This is what I mean. It's wheels, 100%
Nah,
wheels.
it's doors. It's definitely
not.
doors. It's so doors.
I've literally just ruined your hotel theory by saying there are going to be casters on the hotel beds. So that means there will be more wheels than doors in a hotel.
Plain doors. I don't think that's really going to add much. Prison doors. How many skateboards are there?
Yeah, skateboards. Yeah, that's true. And rollerblades.
Spinny chairs in hotels. Katie privileged confirmed.
Oh my god. How does that mean I'm privileged?
I don't
If it's got
know.
a
Apparently
spinny chair
spinny
in a
wheels.
hotel room?
Anyway, Lewis Hamilton's just gone wide at exactly the same corner again. The downhill double left-hander. Apologies for the doors and wheels,
nice wheels.
debate, but look, we need.
That's the
to
most
know.
animated I've been in like the
I
last
know.
hour. Is arguing
It's like,
that.
tell us what's happening in testing. Well, doors or wheels.
Nothing.
Bloody wheels, Matt, wheels. I'm currently
the
fitting a
chat
kitchen that's
saying?
16 cupboard doors. The people have 4 cars on the drive, so all wheels are negated before you consider the rest of the doors in the house. Fridge door, car doors, yeah, ski lifts. I don't think they have doors, do they? I guess the actual proper ones do. I was thinking about the ones where you just strap yourself in.
Roller coaster wheels. Somebody said, yeah. Go karts.
Hospital
scooters.
beds, yeah, fair.
I mean, just think how many wheels there are on Lego. Like just Lego on its own. Did you know that Lego are the biggest tire suppliers in the world?
Yes, yeah,
That's
they
a true
create like
fact.
600 million wheels or something. Don't they?
Sophie, who works on our partnerships and projects at WTF1, has just WhatsApped me and said, it's wheels. Thank you, Sophie.
I
Thanks
think
for the
it's
support,
well.
hon.
It's never ever. It's just an opinion. We never know. We don't know. I might Google it whilst Martin Brundle's talking.
I like Martin's shades. He's gone for like the cool.
I love how I put "are there," and the thing is, the first thing that auto filled was, "Are there more doors or wheels in the world?"
I don't think there's ever any way of knowing.
Let's see. This is a pay for? So I love how just one random person asked, and then
No, it's turned into World War III in the comment. Oh, Haas have just submitted a tweet, which could, if we did a social media teams championship, it should be a very big contender.
Yeah, what is it? Tell us.
So it's you know the Simpsons meme of thingy on the bus where he goes, "I'm in danger." He's done that with warning to all F1 paddock doors and a picture of Kevin Magnussen involved in it, obviously making reference to when Kevin Magnussen smashed Gunter Steiner's door after a meeting, which was captured in Drive to Survive. So yeah, please, Kevin, no more smashing doors.
No more smashing doors. And oh god, I've just thought drawers have tiny wheels.
Yeah.
Every drawer has a little
Oh, yeah,
or maybe 2 tiny wheels.
Yeah.
All right.
So...
Okay, maybe I'm on the wheel hype now. God. Anyway, conveyor belts have tons of wheels and no doors. Case closed.
I love it. Yeah.
Hot Wheels cars and die-cast cars have wheels as well.
Yeah. Think of like all kids' toys that have wheels.
Anyway, right, brilliant stuff. That was a good sort of 5-minute fill of advent calendars. Hello, we're back in. That's a door. That's
advent calendars.
That's 25 doors. Lovely. How many advent calendars are there in the world?
I don't know, but there's more wheels, so it doesn't matter.
As long as there's a door for Gunter to fox smash, then I'm always going to be doors. Yeah, I'm always going to be doors.
Yeah.
I'll be counting gates as doors. Right, brilliant.
No,
Kathy did a perfect impression. Who's Kathy?
Yeah, who's Kathy, mate? Not me.
Good stuff. All right, well, that was a great chat. Great chat.
I enjoyed that. That was good. That's my rant of the day done.
So we have 45 minutes remaining in this sesh. What's been your main takeaway so far, Katie? Apart from doors and wheels.
I guess Mercedes side pods is a huge talking point, and how that's going to be for them this year, because we've not seen a team with such a radical side pod design. Obviously, Red Bulls was pretty different when they debuted that in Barcelona, but this is very different for other reasons because it's just so slender and small and petite. And yeah, not many other teams, if any, have got a similar kind of design. Everybody's side pods have been quite big and bulky. So time will tell if that's been a stroke of genius from Mercedes, which, let's be honest, it probably is because it's Mercedes, or whether they've made a horrendous error. But once again, it's Mercedes, so probably not.
There's a question from Dale. Will the room covers be a thing throughout the season, or will they lose it at places such as Mexico and Brazil where they struggle with cooling? Well, the wheel covers are part of the car, so they're not going to get rid of it if they're struggling for cooling. The teams will have to come up with other solutions, if that is the case, to cool the brakes and the car. So they're not going to change the rules just because some teams might struggle with overheating. That's not the way it works. The teams have to come up with solutions. And that is it. How long is the break? I believe it's an hour, Jake, just like it has been previously. Is that right, Katie? Yeah,
I believe so, yes.
Just for people that are joining, we're not going to be doing an afternoon session or sessions for the next couple of days, just purely because we've got a lot of other work to do and Tommy is on holiday. So we've got to keep you up to date through all of our other channels and do videos and all that good stuff. So goodbye, Mohammed. Goodbye. You just said bye. So see you.
Bye,
we're not going yet. We've got 43 minutes still to go. And plenty can still change, but Charles Leclerc is still 1.7 seconds clear of Sergio Perez, who is ahead of Hamilton, Albon, Vettel, Ocon, Zhou, Norris, and Gasly. So Perez is out there on the C2 tyre at the moment.
Interesting. There's some images in XPB of Guan Yu Zhou walking back to the pit lane after his car came to a halt in the pit lane earlier, which... pretty cool shots, to be honest with you. It looks like something from a Hollywood movie. I feel like there should be some sort of explosions going off behind him, like looking into the distance. I don't know if Benji can make up a graphic for that. That would be cool.
I'm sure
maybe
Benji
not with
can.
The explosions in it, but just the general image.
Benji can do anything we ask for. So Croft is complaining about the wheel trim on the Red Bull and it being red on the inside. But for me, that is the clearest thing that he's on white C2 tyres. because there's a massive white rim round it. But he's complaining
Yeah,
because
I don't know.
the further inside is red. But I mean, it's either going to be red, yellow, or white on the outside rim. Like I don't think it's going to be that bad to differentiate. But hey, that's what Croft is complaining about in the commentary box at the moment, if you're wondering. We're riding on board with the Aston Martin driver of Sebastian Vettel, who is bouncing all over the shop down towards turn 1. How's he going to look into turn 1? Oh my days, cannot stop the car to save his life. And that's his lap over if he was going to go for a push lap. Just literally couldn't stop the car. That is, yeah, not good. Not good for Vettel.
Not ideal. He was having brake-by-wire issues earlier, but I don't know if that's going to be too related or whether that got solved.
There are so many more doors, dude, says Luke. I love how the conversation's still going on in the chat. That's what we love to see. That's what we love to see. How do you two think Alfa Romeo will get on this season? I am going to sneeze first, I think.
Wow, that is a controversial opinion, Matt.
Yeah, there you go. If I'd sneezed down the
think-
mic, that would have been very controversial.
Well, we did our predictions of where we think the teams are going to finish in the Constructors' Championship, and I said Alfa Romeo for 9th. So that tells you all you need to know about
Yeah,
my
Tommy went
opinion.
9th and I went 8th. I was swapping Williams and Alfa Romeo around. I think the experience of Bottas can't be underestimated, and I think he'll be able to both help the team and also Guan Yu Zhou move forward in the team. So yeah, I have hopes that Alfa will finish 8th this season and Williams probably 9th.
I think that's a good shout. I might do. There's this picture of Guan Yu Zhou looking back at his Alpha. I might put it on Twitter and ask for people to come up with their best Photoshop of like what is Guan Yu Zhou looking at, and see what people can come up with.
Oh, okay.
I feel like there's a huge amount of possibility there.
Are you sending that to me? Did you say?
Well, Benji can.
Or
maybe
Benji's making
make
it,
out.
yeah.
I can't make it.
Yeah,
but there is
Benji,
a picture.
if you can
and
make
it's gonna
that,
be-
please, that'd be great. Where's that picture gone? I had a picture. There it is. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. So we've got 39 minutes and 40 seconds to go in this morning session. Guan Yu Zhou on a lap, but 1.3 seconds down on Leclerc through the first sector. Riding on board with him now. Let's see how this car looks. Still quite tentative on the turn-in and goes to accelerate and has a little bit of a swapper. Now it's this really tricky downhill left-hander. Can he slow it down? He can indeed, just about. Short shifts for better traction out of the corner. He's got a car ahead of him that is slowing down on the racing line, which is, something that he probably won't thank Perez for, but we move. Vettel has improved on his first sector time out there. Is he anywhere near Charles Leclerc's middle sector? We'll find out. Zhou is definitely not, over 4 seconds back through the middle. What's Vettel saying in this middle sector on the medium compound tyres? He's 1.1 seconds off the Ferrari, so he might well go second if he has a decent final sector. Sebastian Vettel. Guan Yu Zhou over the line, that's not going to trouble anything. Vettel driving towards the line now. Looks like he's pushing a reasonable amount, but not a great final sector by any means, but still goes second. 1.6 seconds off Leclerc. A 36.1 for Seb. Grosjean would have been a better option than K-Mag. What do you think, says?
No.
No.
I think he's quite comfortable in IndyCar at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Grosjean has a seat in IndyCar. He's settled himself in, as you say. K-Mag, as far as I'm aware, wasn't busy.
He had a deal with Peugeot, I believe.
So wasn't
but-
busy.
No, but I mean, it's not like he was sat around
No,
twiddling his
no,
thumbs
no.
like somebody like Hulkenberg was doing. Although
I
he
imagine
had his
getting out of
Aston
that deal
Martin
was
reserve
very
drive.
a lot easier than maybe getting out of an IndyCar deal.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Giovinazzi wasn't more of an option for them. Obviously, he has his Formula E drive at the moment, but to be honest, I don't think I can see him lasting past Rome, which is this month.
Who, Gio?
And yeah,
Why?
well, because the car he's in is an absolute tractor. He's
Right.
he's not also getting the hang of the energy management. He's using so much more energy than the other people around him on the grid. And yeah, just generally the team he went to, Dragon, is not the one. It's not very competitive.
That's why he's just going to bin it off.
I personally think so. I think as soon as Giovinazzi got announced at Formula E, I was like, he'll do half a season. I'm happy to be proved wrong.
Yeah.
But the time, like the average time spent in a Dragon Formula E seat is notoriously only a few races. So I don't know what he'll do. He's still appearing in certain places. Obviously, he's with Ferrari as one of their reserve drivers. So I'm sure that's a role that he'll continue in. But you think with Haas having Ferrari power behind them, that they might be able to offer him up. Other than that, maybe I thought something might happen with Andretti, but it just depends if Gene Haas wants to do a deal with Andretti, because obviously they're big American competitors, both American race teams, and whether having a Haas Andretti car would be a conflict of interest, I don't know. But Andretti have made it very clear that they want to have some involvement with an F1 team, and Haas need money.
Yeah.
So you think that helping getting an American driver into an American team would be a great marketing benefit. But no, Kevin Magnussen is back. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And apparently it's on a multi-year contract as well. So it's not just going to be a one-off. It's going to be a long-term thing, which is cool.
Yeah, that's a big thing for K-Mag, who I'm sure was quite gutted to leave the world of Formula One, but getting back on the grid is big for him. And
Yeah.
you know, we'll see. He's 29, isn't he? Which is you know,
Crazy.
so he's still got a few years left in the tank if he wants it. But yeah, it's good to see him back on the grid. And as I've said earlier, it'll be nice to see how Mick Schumacher stacks up against someone like that. I know that some people have said, "Oh yeah, but he's had a year out, Matt." And it's like, well, yeah, but he's had 6 years in as well. So I'm sure it won't take him a huge amount of time to get up to speed. Someone as experienced as that, knows the Haas F1 team very well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Mick stacks up. I think there was a question actually earlier about how will Mick do against Kevin. I think Mick will probably lose to K-Mag over the course of the season. Not by much, maybe, but yeah, I think K-Mag's a good driver, like he is. Hold on, Leclerc's fastest in the first sector. We're going to have to go straight into
Again.
Charles Leclerc pushing hard on the medium tyres, fastest in the first sector. Can we get a purple in the middle as well? He's going down the straight, DRS wide open. So there's 3 DRS points around Bahrain. They can actually use DRS wherever they want in testing, which I think Tsunoda did last year. It was a bit cheeky. He was opening DRS earlier than where the detection line was. Leclerc's just over a tenth down on his fastest lap time through the middle sector. And let's see if Charles Leclerc improves. He's got 1 corner to go. He's gone off board, so can't really tell how good or bad. Oh, bit squirrely, bit slidey on the exit. DRS wide open. Leclerc comes over the line, does not improve. Quarter of a second, just over, back on his fastest time. So yeah, Charles Leclerc went for another push lap. Well, I say push lap, still 5.5 seconds off quali pole last year, but still looked like he was relatively pushing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, not a bad effort.
So yeah,
But as we know, as Lando said when he topped the timesheets at the end of day 1 in Barcelona, it's actually more of a hindrance to be top of the timesheets because everybody just puts the pressure on you and thinks, you'll be world champions, confirmed. And he said he didn't really like being at the top of the timesheets, but Leclerc clearly doesn't care too much because he was doing it a lot in Barcelona and he's doing it here in Bahrain. So he thinks, well, do you know what? I'll get some good press. Go and cook it. Not a bad thing.
He doesn't care. He loves a bit of pressure, old Charles Leclerc. He's ready. He's ready to fight for the title. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't think Ferrari. I mean, who knows? Who cares? I care a lot, actually. But yeah, we don't know. We will not know until qualifying next Saturday.
What will you do if Leclerc gets pole in Bahrain?
I will lose my absolute
You should do a live.
mind.
Wait, are you going to be doing the watch along?
Yeah, quality watch along, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh God, we will be there. Everybody, you have to join us for quality watch along next Saturday, first round. Who's going to be there, chat? Come on, you're going to come join us for quality watch along. I don't know if it'll be Katie or Tommy, but we're going to be.
One of us.
It's going to be one of us, and definitely me. So you better come join us because it will be very exciting to watch, and I am not afraid of sharing how I feel most of the time. So yeah, it'll be good fun. 31 minutes and 53 seconds to go in this morning session. Leclerc, Perez, Albon, Zhou and Gasly, 5 cars out on track at the moment. You know it, says Brian. Love it.
Thanks, Brian.
Of course, says Katie Junker. Bog Tracks, me.
Great name
RSPB
as
Gaming,
well.
I will. Vicas, let's go. Love to see it, guys. Love to see it. So Leclerc's just come into the pits. Looks like he's not. Might get Will back into the pits. We'll find out very shortly. Stops, or does he drive off again? It looks like he's going to drive off again. Has a little stop, has a little cooling, and then drives off again. So Leclerc rejoining the track out of the pits.
Right, I've just put a tweet out on WTF1 saying, time for a Photoshop challenge. What is Guan Yu Zhou looking back at here? Share your best replies below. If you like making Photoshop challenges or memes or whatever, head over to the WTF1 Twitter now and send your best, and we'll share our favourites on the stream and on social as well. Because I've already seen Benji has submitted one, which I think we'll have to make into a graphic to put on the watch along here, because it's very, very good.
Let's have a look at. Let's have a look at this then. WTF1 official. Time for a Photoshop challenge. What is Guan Yu Zhou looking back at here? Share your best replies below.
There you go. There's Benji's.
Why is this guy on the grid, man? Someone said. That's a bit mean. Haven't even
That's a bit
seen him.
mean.
Haven't even seen him do one race yet.
Yeah.
Hasn't done one race. It's like, why is he on the grid?
That's mean.
Tommy, Drive to Survive Season 5 to take place in my Twitter mentions. Oh, for God's sake. Oh, dear. Love that. Love that Mercedes have already started to poke fun at Red Bull. Albon's on a lap, improving. C4 tyre for the Williams driver. Around the final corner he comes. It just does look very tentative on the power out of that final corner. Albon goes second, 0.6 off Charles Leclerc, 35.2. Just listening to what Crofty's saying, and they're talking about the tyre compound difference between Leclerc and Albon. Albon on the C4 tyre then. Leclerc on the C3. Gasly's on the C2 tyre. 4.2 seconds back at the moment. He's improving in both the first and second sector, so maybe a slightly faster run for Pierre Gasly, but I don't think this is going to trouble anywhere near the top. No, it's not. It's not going to be particularly fast at all. He opens the DRS though and comes over the line. And 3.3 seconds back now is Pierre Gasly. Still stays ninth. Himself, Perez, Albon and Leclerc are the 4 drivers out on track with 28 minutes remaining in this official day 1 test at Bahrain.
Ooh.
Oh, Alexander Albon has his floor dragging along the racetrack. This is not ideal. It looks like it's almost failed a little bit, actually. Can't imagine that's supposed to be like that. Or maybe it is, I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah. I'm just going to go and fill up my drink, Matt. I'll be 2 seconds.
What? Okay.
What? How dare you?
Enjoy filling up your drink. Goodbye. Leclerc, Albon and Gasly are now on track. 3 drivers 3 drivers out on track at the moment. What are people saying in the chat? Does the testing have an afternoon session? It does indeed, yeah. So it will start at midday UK time. So an hour after we finish in 27 minutes. There'll be an hour break and they'll be out for another 4 hours this afternoon. So that's good stuff. 8 hours each day, just like we saw just like we knew was going on in Barcelona. Thankfully, it's televised this week, so if you have Sky Sports F1 or F1 TV, you can watch this afternoon. Just so you're aware, we aren't going to be streaming, as I've mentioned earlier, this afternoon or tomorrow or the final day. But we will be doing lots of content on the YouTube channel, roundups and everything else to answer some questions that are the big talking points coming from testing. We will definitely still keep you in the know. So keep an eye on that. Jake B, who has been pushing this morning? Charles Leclerc, Alex Albon, basically anyone at the front of the timesheets. No one really pushing in terms of turning up the wick, it has to be said, because we are still 5.5 seconds off what we saw in qualifying in Bahrain last year. And when you ride on board, you can't really see that element of push really from a lot of the drivers, especially in the slower speed corners where the ground effect is at its least effective. So wouldn't be surprised if we saw reasonably slower lap times this year compared to last. But I imagine that will change quite quickly as the teams really start to understand this car. You can see Charles Leclerc bouncing around actually as well, still suffering with a bit of porpoising. I wonder how difficult that is to drive and how much that really throws off the driver when they head down the straight. He hasn't got his DRS open. And yeah, you can see the bouncing, especially towards the end of the straight where Charles Leclerc's just been. But yeah, Charles Leclerc and Gasly, the 2 drivers out on track as Katie comes back with her drink.
I've returned with my drink.
What's going on here? A little bit of Floviz going on the car for Mercedes. Looks like it. Not the same colour Floviz as we tend to see.
No,
Usually
it's
a fluorescent
invisible
green,
flavors. Dun dun dun.
That's the thing, because there are not
Normally
invisible. I mean, we can see it, but in terms of it's less poignant. But they can see with certain UV lights and stuff. They can see exactly where that paint goes. Because of course, the more you cover it up, the less the other teams learn about your flow structure. Because as much as it's great information for you, the team, if you put fluorescent green dye not dye, but fluorescent green Floviz on, it can also help some sneaky photographers out there that are taking photos of other teams' cars.
Sneaky. Oh, somebody did it. Oh, very good. Looking at the replies to the Guan Yu Zhou tweet that we put out.
Anything
and I was
good?
waiting for someone to do the one of Bottas in Monza, where he looks back at the screen and it's got Hamilton and Verstappen on top of each other. And someone's put that together, so I'm very glad. And somebody put, you beat me to it. So clearly lots of people had the same idea, which, shock horror, people on the internet having the same idea. Who would have thought, eh? But no, liking the replies to that, go and check them out on our Twitter.
That's so good.
Evan Woodhouse says, hi, stream. Hello, Evan, if you are still here and you haven't left.
There's him looking back at the Mercedes, him looking back at Hamilton and Verstappen crashing at Monza. And there's just a gif of Go Tiffy. Strange.
Go Tiffy.
Good stuff. I wish I had the talent to do something like that so quickly. We're on board with Gasly. Hamilton's now gone out on an outlap, so has Ocon. So we've got 4 cars out on track. Gasly's still not pushing by any stretch of the imagination, or at least not pushing the performance of the car, whether that be engine mode, fuel levels, whatever. Ted's in the pits. Let's see what he's got to say. Apparently it's absolutely roasting. 31 degrees and rising. Katie's Ted's, I don't know why I called Ted Katie.
I am
yeah.
Gravitz.
Ted's showing his sunglasses and the fact that he's taped them up. That's solid testing coverage, that is. And now we see the McLaren mechanics talking about the brake ducts. Interesting. So, absolutely no insight, really, but it's all guesswork.
Oh, poor Ted.
All guesswork. Ted doesn't have his notebook. That's probably the.
Ted doesn't have his notebook? Oh my gosh. Yeah. How can we go on?
He needs his notebook.
No Ted notebook.
He really does. So yeah, it's getting roasting, is what Ted's told us. So there you go. Bit of information for you there.
How many laps everybody has done so far today?
Sure, let's do it. Okay.
So Leclerc is on 52. We've got Albon on 48. Vettel on 33. He did have a brake-by-wire issue earlier in the day, so that might be
not confirmed.
Suspected, sorry. We've got Sergio Perez, who's managed 58 laps, which is the most of everybody so far today. Hamilton in his Mercedes has done 48 laps. Ocon has done 34. Zhou has done 40. Norris only 21 laps and Gasly 37 laps. So Norris is the one with the least amount of laps on that board and Perez is the one with the most.
Lovely.
Super duper.
Ted's now talking to Sam Collins. What's Sam Collins got to say? You don't know till you know.
That was his official comment.
Doesn't look like a cooling issue. They're studying the discs. He wonders if it's a fitment issue. God, Sam Collins loves an F1 car. I love it. He just knows everything. It's brilliant. I wish I understood F1 cars to the level that he does.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
They're talking about temperature sensors on the McLaren or something. Cake tins. I don't know. It's strange. Why no Haas, says Charan. They weren't able to because their cargo basically got delayed. So their car didn't arrive in time, but they've been given Sunday morning to essentially do their running on their own, which is quite lovely for them. So they can make up the lost time. And apparently it was out of their control. So that's the reason why there's been a level of understanding from the FIA. And yeah. Let's go Albon, says Metal Bones. It's good to see Alex back in the sport, definitely. How's K-Mag doing? K-Mag hasn't actually done any running today. I don't know, when is he scheduled to run? Do you know, Katie?
Probably tomorrow, because Fittipaldi's in the car today. So probably maybe tomorrow morning or afternoon or something like that.
Cool. And then Mick Schumacher in the final day? Or...
I guess so, or they might just share it in the morning and afternoon or something like that.
Maybe. Albon's actually gone fastest in the first sector, slower in the middle.
Go on, Alex.
Albon improves to half a second back on Charles Leclerc, again on the C4 tyre. Sebastian Vettel's out there as well. We're seeing a flurry of lap times now. We've got 7 cars out on track. The only drivers we don't have on track are Perez and Norris, and of course the Haas drivers. But Vettel coming towards the line now. He is going to improve and is now 1.1 seconds back on Charles Leclerc. 35.706 for Sebastian Vettel. We've got outlaps for Perez and Hamilton. Wonder if we'll see a reasonable push lap from either of those. It'll be nice to see. How's Bottas? He's not running today. Guan Yu, or at least not this morning. I don't know if they're splitting it or not. Teams aren't particularly forthcoming with their driver schedules. but I imagine that information is available somewhere. Ted's having his money earned as he's still on the mic. Did Ricciardo get COVID? I don't think that's been confirmed. I can't imagine.
He might just have food poisoning, or he might just have
Yeah.
a tummy ache or something. I don't know. But I'm sure that McLaren will be quick to update us if anything does happen. As we mentioned earlier in the stream, there are reserve drivers for things just like this. So Stoffel van Dorn, De Vries, they're both McLaren reserve drivers. They share them with Mercedes, and also Paul di Resta is a McLaren. He's like the third reserve driver, but I don't think he's in Bahrain because we haven't seen him so far.
No, we have not. Imagine being third reserve. Like, what the stars would have to align, wouldn't it, for you to get any sort of running?
Well, they've done it because Stoffel and Nick both do Formula E.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
They might actually, it could be a genuine possibility that they're both away.
Wow, imagine getting the
because they're
call
a
up.
teammate.
Just like Di Resta did in Hungary a few years ago.
Yeah, for Massa when he was unwell.
Yeah, was that after his accident?
After who? No, it was when he was at Williams.
It was Williams, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and he just had food poisoning
Massa
or
was
something.
unwell, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course, because that was Ferrari when he had that crash. So, yeah. Oh, Gasly, another lock-up on the front left. And that is not going to help him on his merry way. Trying to set a faster lap time. DRS open again. For Gasly, Leclerc and Albon are in the pits, so is Norris. Norris hasn't done a huge amount of running in that McLaren this morning compared to some. He's done 21 laps only for McLaren. So McLaren, the least mileage this morning. How's the Ferrari doing? Good. I mean, not much more to say, really. You know, top of the timesheets, C3 tyre, 52 laps completed, solid mileage. Can't really ask much more for a morning session, really.
No, we've just seen Gasly looking up.
Rear wing bouncing around. Ghastly is a big disappointment. I'm pretty sure that's a Pokemon.
Ghastly?
Ghastly. I think that is a Pokemon, but I don't know why he's a big disappointment. I know that he's 3.3 seconds back, but it is testing, remember? How is air tunnel testing regulated? I don't actually know how it's regulated. Do you, Katie, at all?
What was the question? How's the testing term regulated?
How is wind tunnel or air tunnel testing regulated?
I'm not particularly sure. Maybe when they use the tunnels, they have an FIA technical delegate or something like that there, but I'm not entirely sure.
I guess the question is how they would
make a statement, and it could be wrong.
How they would
ask the guys at the race.
Make sure that they're not doing midnight running. I suppose there must be some sort of system or whatever to monitor exactly how much usage they have. Otherwise, just do some secret running, which just get a fan and a model car.
Wind tunnel session.
There you go. Yeah. Because, of course, for those that don't know, there is limited wind tunnel time, and it was allocated in 2020, 18, one or the other. Basically, it was the year when Ferrari finished 6th or 7th, and that was the year that they allocated the wind tunnel time
2020.
For these new cars, and so they got a slight bit more wind tunnel time than Mercedes, who finished first. So, oh no, I'm being called. One moment, Katie, please take over.
No worries. So we've got 13 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock for this morning's running. In case you haven't noticed, or you haven't heard Matt mention it, it's going to be the only time we do testing coverage over the 3 days because we're busy bees, guys. We've got lots to do, and also Tommy's away, so we're already quite thinly spread as a team. But don't worry, because you can still get loads of testing coverage over on WTF1.com, on social media. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels, and also on YouTube. Matt's going to be doing his what we learn in a day kind of thing, so you can just tune in to a handy little 3-4 minute video at the end of each day if you want to get the big news stories and you can't keep checking out on social. Also, our sister company, The Race, have an amazing F1 live testing hub. So they'll be posting live text updates on that throughout the 3 days. So if you're maybe at work or you're at home and you just want an ongoing running commentary of what's going on live, then you can do so through The Race. And I think there's a link to that in the description below. But for now, you can also watch on Sky if you have access to that, or F1 TV. I think it's on certain settings there. So be sure to tune in and watch it. I'm certainly going to have it on the background all day today and tomorrow and Saturday. And also Drive to Survive is dropping tomorrow. So maybe you can somehow sync it up so you've got testing on one screen, Drive to Survive on the other. But be sure to tweet us, guys, and let us know what you think about the new season of Drive to Survive. I won't say too much because I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't, like, literally want to go into it without knowing anything. But I've seen it, Matt's seen it, because we were really lucky to get early access thanks to Netflix. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy it. If you're like me, I will just sit and watch anything F1 related, whether that's a documentary series about Senna or Lauda or someone like that, or Drive to Survive. Also, talking of documentaries, it was announced yesterday that Hamilton's having a documentary being brought to Apple TV. So that's another subscription service for you to sign up on. I don't know if I'm the only one. I seem to have subscribed to absolutely everything under the sun. I've got Prime, I've got Netflix, I've got Apple TV, I've got Now TV.
Have you?
All these different things. Yeah, because everything that I'm watching, the Sky coverage on Now TV, and I've got like every other thing that I've paid for, like subscription services. I got Disney Plus. It's just never ending. And I still can never find anything to blimmin' watch.
So I'm listening to Ted at the same time. I don't know what he's talking about, but I was
doing some very weird hand signals at the moment, but I've got him on mute because otherwise you'll hear him in the background.
Yeah, fair. So 10 minutes to go.
10 minutes.
Nearly 4 hours have flown by. And it's been an absolute pleasure to bring you this. We really do appreciate you coming and joining once again with this live stream, because I know that obviously it is being shown. So I appreciate just some of you are coming along just to listen to us natter, or maybe you don't have access to it. But it has been awesome to bring along this live stream for you. Please do leave a like if you have enjoyed it. Remember as well, if you haven't seen it already, I need to give a shout out because it was a big video.
Oh, we've got a virtual
VSC.
Maybe it's just practice running at the end of
potentially but we did a Mercedes Formula 1 simulator video, so if you haven't seen that already, go and check that out in the lunch break, because it's a brilliant video. Mercedes actually invited us down to have a look around their esports facility and have a go on the actual Formula 1 simulator, which is insane. So yeah, feel free to check that out during the lunch break. And also I am going to be uploading a video as soon as this pretty much ends, maybe 10 minutes later, a video about the aero rakes. So if you want to know more about why teams run those big metal scaffolding in the morning and what sort of information that can give, then we are putting an F101 video up. As I say, pretty much as this morning's session ends, for your viewing entertainment. So feel free to go and check that out. But yeah, VSC still out at the moment. Perez, Norris, and obviously Haas are not out on track. And that is now.
Oh yeah, Perez has just come into the pits. He was out.
Yeah,
everyone was on
popped
track.
Himself back in. Albon's now back in as well. Of course, no lap times will be being set really because the VSC is out, and if they do, they'll be in big trouble. I wonder how long that VSC period is going to last for.
Hang on a minute. There's suddenly We Are Williams sponsors on the Halo. That wasn't there earlier.
What?
Huh? On the Williams, if you look on the onboard, there's suddenly stickers there, and there definitely weren't there earlier.
Yeah, because we spoke about it, didn't we? Yeah.
We said there's
maybe Williams, they're listening and they've gone.
If you're watching, hi.
Someone's watching and gone, oh my God, we didn't put the stickers on the Halo.
Shoot! Oh my God, that's so funny. That's so weird.
That's brilliant. Maybe they weren't ready and they were like, no, just send them out and we'll put them on. We'll put them on later.
Yeah. Interesting.
So Sergio Perez is out there at the moment. You can see some Flovis on the wishbones on the front of the car, which is an interesting place to put the Flovis. Just small amounts, nothing crazy like we saw last test with the McLaren, especially being coated in Flovis. You can see there, around the air boxes, even in just under the joining of the halo as well. It looks like. So they want a bit more information on how the airflow. How the airflow structure of the car works in that particular setting. My brain's literally exploding. It's an early start, and the coffee is definitely worn off. But we've still got 7 minutes to go, and you can see, if you can see, Sergio Perez with the Flovis paint on his car. Have I got any more pictures for you? Probably. Sorry, Benji, I haven't updated the picture for a little while. Oops, a daisy, I don't need that. Download. Let me change the picture to the Mercedes Sidepod.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a slower replay of Sergio Perez and taking a look at where that Flovis paint has been applied. Tiny bit on the front wing. Interesting. That's very intricate.
It looks very even.
Application.
I guess
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Got it on equal sides of the car. But yeah, the reality is, I don't really know what that means. I'm not a techie person.
Well, if you want to know about Flovis, there's a video on our YouTube channel that Katie has definitely not watched. And
it originally came from an article, which I definitely did read. But
Fair.
I mean, I can't look at it and say, oh, well, by looking at that paint right in that exact spot, that means this is the same as this kind of thing.
No idea. Not a clue. Don't know why they've done that particular application of the Flovis paint, but Formula One is a very, very complicated sport at times. Hamilton is out there at the moment. No DRS open, so not on a push lap. 5 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. Ocon, Albon, Norris, Gasly not out there at the moment. And Leclerc still fastest from Alex Albon. The Twitch duo from the Twitch quartet in the front two.
I'm wondering what's going on with McLaren. Why has Norris done so few laps and why is he not out yet?
Yeah.
If they've tweeted anything, let me have a gander.
Why is the VSC out? I think they were just testing it, to be honest with you. Hitanch, I think it was very much just testing the system, making sure it works. Because as far as we could see, there was no incident or car stopped out on track or debris or anything like that. So all good for the teams. Yeah, the floor is, not the floor, the side pod and how low it is, the skirting is insane. There's a replay now of Hamilton into the final corner. Does he lock up by any chance? No, he doesn't. He just... Oh, a bit of a loss of the rear. These cars don't look as fun to drive, in my opinion. They just seem very unstable in certain areas. And maybe that is just because the teams are still trying to figure out how to best utilise the downforce with the use of ground effect and all the new regulations. But it just doesn't look very fun. Right? They just look like they're constantly soaring at the wheel and a lot slower currently, obviously, than what we saw in qualifying. But that's, it's day one of testing. I actually want to find out. Day one Bahrain testing 2021. Bahrain F1 test day one. Wow, okay. So day one of testing last year, the fastest time was a 30.674.
Yeah. Wow, that's different.
So that's nearly 4 seconds off of what Max Verstappen achieved last year. Interesting. That would suggest that we have got slower cars, at least for the start of this season. But look, we don't know. We don't know. Only a few minutes to go now till the end of the morning session. And have we got any push laps out there at the moment? Doesn't look like it. riding on board with Sergio Perez on his outlap. Will he go for one glory run at the end? We will have to wait and see. Thankfully for Perez, he's been able to do a lot of laps rather than going in after Verstappen, who did a monumental amount of laps at the start of Barcelona testing, and then Perez went out and the gearbox broke.
Yeah, not too great. But things are looking a bit better this time round, which is good. And also in relation to McLaren, obviously, Sky showed them having a look at the brake ducts. So although there's been no official statement from McLaren as to why they've not gone out, it seems probably quite likely that that's the root of their issue.
What was the root of their issue, sorry?
Possible thing with the brake ducts.
Okay. Oh, yes. They were taking a look at that, weren't they, earlier? When Ted was down in the pits. Checo apparently still says he's on an outlap despite going across the line. Interesting. Seb Vettel is in the pits. He's still in the car, even though there's 1 minute 25 to go. Wonder if he'll go out for a practice start or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But not a lot of time left for the morning sesh. Matt, are these timings somewhat usable to sort the teams out? What do you mean by that, Arcot? Oh, in terms of the order? No, absolutely not. Testing times are cannot be. I know I joke about it. I'm on the Ferrari hype train. Oh yeah, they're first. They must be challenging for the championship this year, but you can't take notice of the times at all, especially in day one of testing. I mean, it'll be interesting to see day 3, the final afternoon session. But really, we're not going to see true representative performance until qualifying on Saturday next week. So, not long to go now till we find out the true pecking order, at least from Bahrain, which is very exciting.
Indeed. And the good thing is we only have a week to watch, a week to wait to watch the actual guys on track fighting for genuine places and positions in quali in the race. And testing will be no more, which is good.
Leclerc hit the exit curb there. Oh no, the timer's going off. Sorry everybody. Sorry everybody's ears. There we go. I've turned that off now. My apologies. So that is officially the timing done for the morning session. They'll just finish their laps. Leclerc, as I was just going, just touched the exit curb there, which completely unsettled the rear of that Ferrari, and he almost drifted into that downhill left-hander. But that is morning testing done and dusted. And as if you've just joined and you're wondering, when are you guys live streaming next? We're not. I'm sorry. We might maybe do the final hour of Saturday, but don't hold me to that. I'm just saying it out loud. But yeah, we're not doing any more live streaming because we've got a lot of more content to focus on, and you guys have the streams and whatnot that you can find and watch and watch along on Sky Sports F1 or on F1 TV. So yeah, hopefully you guys understand. With Tommy being away as well, there's a lot more plates spinning. So
we can't do it. I will.
We are only a small team, as much as people
explode.
think we're a $1 billion company. We are only a small team. So
Literally having to do all the social today, all of editorial, and everything else. It's just there's so much to do.
Rutin asks, any chance of a quick reminder of what the fastest/slowest tyre is? So C1 is the slowest tyre, C5 is the fastest. So go C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. So C1 is the hardest compound tyre, C5 is the softest. White is C1, red is C5, then in the middle, C3 is the yellow. So there you go. Day 1 morning test session is done. Katie, final thoughts?
Final thoughts are interesting side pods from Mercedes, and they don't seem to be showing us what they're capable of, but then I'm not surprised.
No, I don't think a lot of teams have. Hopefully Ferrari haven't peaked. Hopefully we're not going to be 5.5 seconds off when we get to qualifying on Saturday next week. But yeah, Verstappen's day one time from last year's testing was a 30.8, I think it was. So a lot of time to be found, I think, for the Formula One teams. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this very early morning session. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure bringing it to you. Please do subscribe and leave a like before you go as well. We will have lots of videos. As I say, I'm going to be putting the video about aero rakes up in the next sort of 5-10 minutes. So look out for that on the WTF1 YouTube channel. We'll also be doing roundups of every single day at the end of the day. So look out for that maybe, I don't know, sometime in the evening on all 3 days. So look forward to that. And yeah, maybe some other questions answered as well. But we'll have to manage that as we go. Thank you, Katie, for your time. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. As always, it's been a pleasure. And we'll see you soon for some more content. Get ready, in 5-10 minutes, there's going to be another video. So